This episode is brought to you by niggas. Niggas is both the most controversial and most universal subject matter to date. It is sometimes considered the most uplifting word in the black community, as well as the most self-oppressing. Niggas can be used to describe both people you love and people you hate. It can be used to describe well-renowned basketball players, bottom-of-the-barrel homeless people, highly successful entrepreneurs, and downright crackheads. Niggas is a term both openly welcome and rejected within the black community. It can be used to describe both people you want to invite to the club, as well as people you don't want at the cookout. Niggas is so versatile, it can even be used to describe people that don't have nigga characteristics, such as rich people, successful people, smart people, and even non-black people. So if you'd like to find out more about the word, then visit the website at www.wordsaredumb.com and come to your own basis. One more time, that website is www.wordsthatardumb.com. Now let's start the episode.
Our sins and woes. Our sins and woes. Our sins and woes.
Welcome to another episode of the Our Sins and Woes podcast where a bunch of dumbass millennials talk about their dumbass perspectives, their dumbass opinions, their dumbass mistakes, and their dumbass complaints. I'm your host, Nelson, and thank you for joining me today. Now, I got a couple shout-outs I got to get out real fast. First shout-out goes out to the Montclair Library. God, they are strong for dealing with everything that we bring to this goddamn library, all the fuckery that we bring every week, and they deal with it. So big shout out to them. Another shout out goes to my goddamn cameraman, Eric of 795 Production, man. He's been with me since the ground up, and he's here at every damn episode and still not getting paid. Charitable contributions, and I can't do anything but appreciate that. Third shout out goes out to all the audience. You guys that are reposting, resharing, and just straight up supporting the podcast. Very much appreciate that. We wouldn't be anywhere without you guys because, I mean, shit, y'all watching it. Fourth shout out goes out to, the non-existent haters. I don't have to worry about people telling me that, like, this podcast is garbage and that it's never going to amount to shit. So very much appreciate that. And shout out goes to all the haters I just created because I know y'all about to slide in my DMs talking about your podcast is trash and you're never going to amount to shit. So, yeah. Thanks to everybody that's been supporting this podcast, and here we are at episode 10, and it's about to be a good one. So with all that being said, I'm going to introduce my guest of today. We got reoccurring guests from the first 9 episodes. Episode 1 guest, J-Pat. What's up, baby?
What's going on, Nelson?
Oh, man. It's about to be a day. My episode 2 guest, Q. What's up?
Yo.
You use the same one that you used in episode 2?
Yeah.
My episode 4 guest, Afia.
Hey, Nelson.
My episode 5 guest, Xavier Cloud. Yeah. And my episode 6 guest, Lewis.
Hey, boo.
Yeah. I already can't with this group.
Scared.
I already can't. We about to get into some big shit. We really got to start touching into these big problems that are affecting the black community. And I wanted to wait till we had a big group discussion to do it. So why not do it now? Police brutality. We gotta address this shit. Let's get straight into the bullshit.
Fuck the police.
That's how you feel?
Underground.
Wait. Do you say fuck the police because, like, what they're doing to the black community or just in general? Like, you just don't like cops? Are you calling 911 if you're going through something? Somebody's breaking into your house?
No, I'm gonna reach for my gun and handle that shit. That's what niggas do. That's what real niggas do. Straight like that.
I knew the real was left out. I could sense it. Like nah, he missed the real in there somewhere before or after.
So you don't call 911?
No.
Yo, I find it hard to believe
have a
if
fire at your house.
Then I call the fire department.
Which is what number?
The police will come.
911.
They don't got direct lines? Damn. Talking up. Then my house has been burned and I'm dead.
What he meant to say was he calls the fire department and tell them to not bring the police. Only bring the fire truck.
Straight like that. Because that's what real niggas do.
Is getting shot on site.
No,
right.
but like, wait.
I'll say, help, there is a white woman in need. They'll be fast.
No, so
the fire department?
Seriously, you don't call the cops if something goes on?
I haven't. But if someone breaks in my house, they seriously are getting a bullet.
I get that.
And maybe a sword.
Self-defense as well.
So I don't need to call the cops for that.
Okay,
but if
I'm the body.
Okay, wait. But if you have a dead body at your house,
That's what I'm saying. Who's gonna clean the body?
I got homies.
Wait.
Not me.
You ain't got me, nigga. Damn.
And that's great.
It be your own people.
I'd be like, open the window. Open the window. Let's drop this out real quick.
No, but I see your point. I see your point. Yeah, but I mean,
So are you calling the cops?
I'm not. No.
What do you do if you have somebody that broke into your house and they have a dead body? I mean, you killed this person out of self-defense, and now there's a dead body in your house.
I mean, I would be scared to call the police just because I'm a black man that has a dead body in my
Right,
house.
exactly.
Now, whatever the story is,
I'm not gonna
whatever the
call
story is, like, are they really gonna believe me? I might have to get somebody to take care of the body for me, like,
Exactly.
just because I don't feel like talking to police, like they're gonna listen to a black man and what he says, and in all honesty.
So everybody has a hide a body man in their phone.
I mean, no.
I got some niggas.
Right.
I got some niggas.
I'm gonna need to exchange some phone numbers with people.
Right? I'm
Right? Like,
Yo, what you need?
Clearly, I was missing one of these.
Because
Not
I
in
was
contract.
too.
briefing?
Right.
no, because I want to believe that the police are gonna help me. Like in certain situations, like, you know, we had like the PO officers and not PO. I'm sorry, the school officers that were in our schools and things like that. Like with these mass shootings and different things like that, we need police. Like, I'm hoping that they're trained and be able to protect me.
So
But-
okay, all right, let's come to a basis here. You guys don't understand that there's a difference between like cops and bad cops.
I
Like,
believe
you're
there's a
gonna
difference.
say I'm not calling 911 to have them come, protect me because I've seen some articles on the news about like there are cops that are out here beating niggas' asses. So you're saying I'm never gonna call 911 because I automatically assume that all cops are bad?
What was
Like-
that Drake quote? So many years and I've never met a good cop.
Oh.
21 years.
There you go. 21
See,
years and
I
I've never
can't
met a
say
good
that though.
cop.
I can't agree with that. I've definitely come. I actually, you
Across
know
some
what?
good cops, right?
I mean, I'm sure they exist.
I can give you a very specific situation where I got pulled over in a car that smelled completely like weed, and a cop pulled me over and was like, "You know why I pulled you over?" And I was like, "Yeah, because I was driving fast as shit." And he was like, "You know the speed limit here?" I was like, "Yeah, I've lived here my whole life actually, so can't lie to you there." And he was like, "Yo, the car smells like weed," and I was like, "I promise, like, it wasn't me. You know what I mean? Like, there's no weed in here. You can check the car." My man searched the car,
Big mistake.
literally let me go. I didn't even get a speeding ticket.
Won't he do
And
it?
that same man pulled me over again when I was at
That
the
nigga is following
See,
you.
coming for you.
nigga, bro. The same
coming
nigga.
for you.
The same nigga.
God is
But
good.
Once again, you know what I'm saying? I was completely
Run.
in the wrong. So I don't know. But at the same time, I've had my car broken into. Didn't call the
the
cops.
conversation we're having right now and the fact that we don't call 911 when somebody breaks into our house is like, no, that cop should beat the shit out of you. Because that's the standard that we have, right? That's the stigma that we have is like cops will fuck you up if you call them, regardless of whether you're in the right or the wrong.
I mean,
Low-key.
we have a lot of disparities in place right now. Like, I was a firefighter EMT for this county for 3 years. And
Do you have a direct line for him?
I be calling him, "Hey, chief, shit's really gone left." I think it just boils down to if you're not working within that kind of like realm of work, you're not ever really gonna encounter really good experiences as a black person in this country, like often.
Agreed.
It's just it's inevitable. Even as a county firefighter, I've been pulled over with my uniform in the back of my car, and that's been the only thing that saved me. So, I mean, I support law enforcement that do, people who do their jobs.
Oh,
but,
weird. Like, there are people that are good
but-
at being police
But
officers.
I have my own personal issues with how things get handled within black community, minority communities by law enforcement. We got some serious
Oh, no,
issues.
there's nothing to disregard the fact that, like, there are cops beating niggas' asses out here. But are we looking at the entire police department like they're all bad, or are we looking at bad cops like they're bad? And then police brutality goes so much deeper than that. Like, are we just worried about the police brutality in the black community, or are we worried about police brutality as a whole? Like, this is one of those times where I feel like we as a people need to push the white agenda. Because when we start acknowledging that, like, when white people start acknowledging that white people are out here getting their asses beat by the police officers, fact that more white people are getting their asses beat by police than black people. It's just a
As
higher.
it should be.
I disagree. Violence ain't the
But that's
answer.
Right.
there's also more white people.
I mean,
than
yeah,
black
because when
people.
there's
Exactly.
more, exactly. That's why.
So there is a
Depends on
higher
where you're at.
percentage of black people that are getting their asses beat. There's no question about it. But that doesn't mean that white people aren't affected by this as well.
Correct.
So when white people start addressing it, this usually
I
how
think
people
people
get
just
shit
getting
gets
their
fixed.
Everybody
what?
getting their ass beat.
But I
Everybody
mean,
gets
what do
paid.
You look at
Right.
other countries in Europe, they don't have the same issues in Canada and all
Well,
them other
they're
Well,
places.
we don't
It's
care about
different.
Europe. We're in America.
They're-
Let's solve our problems.
I bet.
Do you think?
Remember those words
Do you
for
think
later
that
in
we
this
kind of
podcast.
bring it on ourselves also? Because I've noticed, like when I've been pulled over with a friend, I always am compliant. I like to put my hands on the steering wheel, make sure don't do anything until he gets to the window and things like that.
As a nigga,
But-
you will get shot doing no matter
but,
what.
But I'm telling you, when I get pulled over with this friend, he starts popping off at the mouth, and it's like sometimes you just gotta shut up and listen. And you can escalate a situation just by running your mouth.
But you can also be
But I'm not saying that-
quiet and still get your. You could be sitting in the house on the couch eating ice cream,
Yikes.
and a police officer can walk in your house and shoot you.
No, and I mean I understand that that's happening, but I feel like the media is blowing up. Like it's
Negative
like this happens in other places and
Police
stuff like that. But
brutality
I've
is an
never
issue. They should
had.
be
Hold on.
Yeah.
This is the real thing. If a cop pulls somebody over and everything goes well, like my story, that's not on the news.
Right.
No.
All right.
No.
We don't know how many times that happens versus like
real talk. What it really is, what it boils down to is, if you're a cop, you shouldn't be a cop and be a pussy at the same time. That's what
Straight
they're
like that.
scared. That's what it is. So out of fear, they react with violence because that's what they got on them.
They have that
You
power.
have
Fear.
to look at the fact that there is a long-standing history in this country where law enforcement, specifically for black people, was used to try and hunt and find you and catch you.
They used to be their
that
job.
was
This is
the
true.
job.
Slave catchers.
Like,
That's original
and
cops.
then you have generational jobs in police, like in like certain states where it was generational. Oh, my daddy was a cop, so I'm gonna be a cop. But if your daddy raised you and your daddy was crazy and a racist or whatever it was, then that might have passed down to you. So now you have an entire generation of people who have a way of thinking. So it's
So
cyclical.
police reform is the solution to police
I mean,
brutality.
but there's
I
also
think-
cops out there getting shot
Where?
in the face.
right, like
So they have a reason to
yeah.
react. It's not like cops are just shooting at people. Like, I mean, sometimes
they
shit
are.
gets sketchy.
They are.
I say, I don't know if they are.
Absolutely.
But hear me out.
But not all
Sometimes
cops.
shit gets sketchy, and the cop doesn't pull, and now that cop's dead.
Right.
So it's a
cop-
double-edged sword. It's not like people ain't out here killing cops. I mean, I believe I heard of "fuck the police" when it was first brought up.
Facts.
That's not, if I was a cop, I wouldn't be feeling, warm and fuzzy.
I
It's like
might-
those
Right,
guys
yeah.
really want me.
I
in
might
there
beat
right
your
now.
ass in the middle of the street. You said fuck the police.
Right.
It all boils down to don't start none, won't be none.
But the question
you
is,
literally-
how do you know which
That's
one
what
to
it is.
trust? How do you know when, when you're about to get the bad cop? You don't know until it's too late.
But what can you do about it anyway? What do you do?
Well,
do-
there was
I
a
do
time
the
in
bad
America where police
could-
brutality
you say,
wasn't that
so
bad.
I'm getting pulled over or something.
What do you do if you have the bad cop?
If I have the bad cop, pray.
Hey.
You can't do anything.
Pray.
how do
I can't physically. It's not like I can physically.
You put on your white
retaliate.
voice.
So
That
you
part.
should do that with every cop.
Yes, officer, I promise
You should
I
be
will
doing that
do
with
what
every
you
cop.
say.
Like,
Nah,
But
but-
if we look at
You
a
should
prime
put your white voice
example,
on it, but
if we
every
look at a prime example like Philando Castile, this man informed the officer that he had a license for a weapon and that the weapon was in the car, and 7 bullets later, in front of his 4-year-old child, in front of his girlfriend, and in front of the fucking world, on Facebook Live, he was shot and killed. So does
Yep.
your white voice apply? Sorry, I'm gonna get hyped in a minute. You know what I'm saying? Like, these motherfuckers, like, are getting away with shit, and it's like, at what point is it really up to me to
not.
do
it's
something?
never
It's
up
not.
to you.
Or
Nope.
is it up
It's
to
never.
the person with the fucking killing machine?
Yep, absolutely.
Again,
right.
police
Killing
reform.
machine is the one behind the
But-
bullet or the one behind the gun.
Yes, that's the point she's making. The police
So-
officer is the killing machine. Or
Yes.
the police officer's behind.
So I
the
would like to say,
But
see
are-
Queen and Slim here for this portion of how to handle.
You know, a lot of black
if you
people
have
weren't
that
getting shot up when Black Panthers rolled through the neighborhoods and had their AKs and all their guns and watched as the cops come to the situations.
And-
Cops didn't shoot up black people then.
And
So we should just
then
arm
they
ourselves
did
with
Damn
gun
skipping.
assault and told them-
Every
So how do
black
you feel-
man should be armed.
How do you feel
This
about
part.
them getting rid of the like AK-47s and different things like that, like big guns and shoot like that? Like
No,
if we
we
didn't
need
have
that.
them, it wouldn't be a problem, would it?
If everyone had it,
Okay.
But why does that?
if
everyone's
you're
gonna kill
looking
each
to
other.
steal from somebody, you know they got a gun. You might think twice.
Wait,
Nah.
wait.
Not
you
when
say
everybody
that.
has
You
a
say that.
gun.
You say
Not
that.
if you
don't
have a
think-
gun too.
You don't think that guns are an issue in the black community?
No, guns specifically, no.
No.
Guns aren't sentient.
Exactly. It's the people behind them.
Guns don't kill people. People kill people.
I mean, that is true. It's
Facts.
facts.
Like we should be arming ourselves with
Yes.
assault rifles.
Yes.
I don't think that's.
We don't need
the
assault
case.
That's not the solution. He said
No.
AK-47.
We don't need assault rifles.
It's
Nah,
a-
sure, that shit might help. might help me air a nigga out real quick. But we don't need an assault
Put it this
rifle.
way, it would make a cop think twice.
Yeah, but here's
Yeah,
three
but it
times.
also
Okay.
might make him think a couple of times and make sure he,
About
call
lying
some
about
backup.
Twice about
Should
damn,
not
I just
shoot
killed
your
this nigga
crazy
with an
ass.
assault
But say
rifle.
you get rid of these guns and like give them tasers or give them other things that like don't kill people. Like if everybody just didn't have
but
There
guns.
are
hold on, hold on,
non-lethal
hold on,
weapons
hold
that
on.
they could.
Yeah, let's not act like
But if
police
everybody-
officers are using their hands to kill people. But
If everybody had assault rifles, Grand Theft Auto 5 would be real. I'm just kind of throwing that out there.
Right, and I mean, I'm a person. I've never had a gun before in my
5-star
life.
Hornet level?
I don't want one. I don't want to see one. I don't want to be near one. Like, I don't think that's. I just don't think that's the answer for everybody to just have guns. Because then all of a sudden we're just gonna shoot each other.
absolutely not the answer. Like it solves
I think we
absolutely
should
nothing.
follow Dave Chappelle. Make bullets $1,000.
Yep.
Yeah. Hey, I'd be behind that.
I mean, I'm gonna have to put.
Give
this
everybody
bitch
a
on
gun, but
Railway.
raise the price on bullets. That man.
Yeah, that was
Genius.
genius.
Not even gonna lie.
But then every black person in America.
Oh yeah, can only have one bullet.
But not that many
Yo, we
niggas.
run up-
Damn, that's racist.
We run up on this nigga's house. We know we hear
That's
one shot,
racist.
That's his
Kill
ass.
one bullet, one body, one chance.
That is his ass. If we hear that one shot go off, everything in this nigga's crib is ours. Let's do it.
Do you
He
think the
doesn't have
process?
another one.
Do you think the process of getting a gun should change?
Absolutely.
Oh, 100%.
Oh, yeah.
But how would
You
they
have
want
to get
to?
a mental screening
Right.
before you're
How
allowed.
much weight does that hold?
Yeah, Hunter does not need to get a gun.
Hold on. How much weight does that hold though?
What do you mean?
Like a mental screening.
I mean,
People get mentally screened all the time. Going into the military, you have to get a military screen, and there are still people that go in there and get a little fucked up in
Here's
the
the
head.
thing.
And they come out with a mental screening, and they're still fucked up in the head. And then sometimes they are the people that are making mistakes out here. Everybody taking innocent lives.
Most of the time, it's little Gunther that finds his daddy's gun in the closet and shoots up the
Okay,
school.
but-
So why are they
You're
not
very
locked
wrong
up?
for
There should
saying
be special locks
You're
and
very
keys and
wrong
different
for
things
saying
that
most
so
of
the
the-
kids can't get to
most
them.
of the-
So when it's school shootings, what is the case?
Okay, but what?
No,
The
no,
Taliban?
but
Wasn't
what
that like
we
a bunch
have
of
to be
grown ass
real
men
about.
walking in with trench coats and just shot up a bunch of kids?
Where's the?
Where was that?
Are you asking where the trench coat theory came from? Do you never look at a nigga twice when he walks in with a trench coat?
No, not at all.
I mean, I'm hoping he's naked
Oh my
underneath,
God.
but
The first thing I think of when I see a nigga in a trench coat is
I
two
support
children
that.
Drugs.
on each other's shoulders, trying to shit like that.
That's what I grew up
First
seeing.
thing I think of.
Yeah, that's what I grew up seeing.
Meanwhile, that's
Yo, what the
perfect
fuck are
place
you
to
about to
hide.
do? You see another nigga hop off his shoulders and it's two little niggas. What you gonna do? You gotta be prepared for this shit. Nelson. You gotta be prepared. This shit is real.
Y'all
So
are some of the
police
most privileged
brutality.
fucks I've ever.
So police brutality.
Yeah, because if I see a man with a trench coat, I know he's not pulling out a pistol.
It could be drugs.
Because
He's pulling out
Like
a,
Hustler Kid from Recess.
Actually, I don't know. Some
He's
niggas
pulling out
have
a
drugs
bazooka.
in their trench coats.
He's pulling out a
right? Aren't you
bazooka,
normally
bro.
selling something?
or a shotgun or something
You're
that shoots
not
a lot of
hiding a
bullets really
bazooka
fast.
in
Right.
your fucking trench coat.
Who are you gonna?
Have
You
you
gonna?
ever
How
had
do you?
Call of Duty?
All right.
Have you ever one-handed grabbed the bazooka
Yes.
from your fucking?
Exactly. What the fuck? What infinite
takes two hands
backpack
to
is
operate
this?
the
Play Grand Theft
What
Auto.
infinite backpack is this?
Grand Theft Auto.
Who
This
is
ain't that.
Who is conveniently carrying around a bazooka? Like that's.
I
a
mean, I
fucking
know a
wall-
couple niggas, but not in their trench coat.
But that's a
Not in
Trench
church
coat.
that's a
coats.
heavy weapon.
Trench coaters.
I'm sorry, niggas like killing in style.
Wait, no,
Facts.
seriously though. I'm surprised at like the fact that y'all like
Y'all seen
y'all
Shaft.
see trench coats and y'all don't get like cautious
Oh,
about
no,
it.
Excuse me,
you
hold
got
on,
to
hold
double
Nope.
check.
When you say y'all,
Okay,
I don't
no.
want you to use that
Them.
term so loosely. All right. I'm about to see trench coats. It could be a child in a trench coat. I'll be like, that nigga is carrying a weapon.
Nah, if I
Watch
see a
out.
child, if I define child, like a toddler or a baby in a trench coat, that's a suicide
suspicious.
baby.
That's right. Yeah,
That baby is being sacrificed today,
Facts.
and so are all the people in the vicinity.
Don't run up on him the wrong way.
Facts. One cry, all y'all niggas dead. Nah.
Yo.
But I don't know. I mean, just
How do we get to be?
All composure. All composure. Right out the window. I lost it all.
Oh god.
Yeah. And the
I
police-
mean, I don't really. I don't really walk through. I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm happy-go-lucky and I don't think that way. I'm not really scared of somebody in a trench coat. Like I'm thinking that if they cold
It's not
or
about
it's
being
raining.
scared though, but the caution factor.
It's like being
is
aware.
Well, I'm always aware of my surroundings.
Hold on.
There. But like a trench coat is not a red flag to you.
It's an inappropriate.
What
It depends on the high key. It depends on the fit.
What season?
Now, if the nigga got a briefcase with the joint, then I'm thinking, yeah, he might got a bomb in that briefcase.
Yeah. He got a briefcase. Or if the nigga just saucing and got a trench coat, all right, nigga, I see a drip. I recognize.
Have you ever seen a secret agent movie? They always have trench coats. And what do they? Have you seen?
But is the trench coat?
Mr.
No
Mrs.
Down
Smith.
Dirty Shame.
Oof.
No.
Yes.
He had a trench coat and he. Okay. Matrix.
Have you seen Superfly?
Matrix. What happened in Matrix?
Have you seen Superfly?
What? Why is it relevant?
It's a much more relevant to our life today.
No.
Today's culture.
Matrix is
And
very
that
relevant.
nigga didn't have a shotgun in his fucking trench coat.
Matrix.
What
What
was in the
happened
tre-
when he
what was in
walked
the
through the
trench coat?
building
Look.
security? What was in his trench coat?
I don't remember.
It was a volley of guns that they picked up from the White Room before they stepped into the world. You
He's
remember
talking
that?
about the Matrix.
You remember that?
Matrix.
Yeah, he's talking about the Matrix.
But how likely
So
would
should
that
we just
happen?
be worried about
Exactly. We're trying to just pull up. Hey, what y'all need?
Like, I normally think
got a
if
whole
I see
shot.
I normally think if I see a trench coat, you're like selling some shit. Like you got the shit on the low for me, like something.
Exactly.
Resident Evil 4.
I didn't watch
That was the guy that had a bazooka in his trench coat.
I still feel like trench coat does not lead to trustworthy individual.
Facts.
Because you still think he's selling some shit, or he might have. You
guys
know
are
he got
literally
something
making
hidden,
it
right?
basic.
Wait, I
That's
just
why
want to
a
point out
trench
that
coat is-
So, police brutality. How many policemen are shooting people with trench coats?
Those are the people that are usually caught on the news.
Yep.
The ones
When
with
you
trench
see
coats.
the white
In
people that
cases
have,
of
like,
police
a-
brutality? In cases? No.
What are you?
I'm asking how does...
A fist fight ain't just police brutality. Sometimes a cop killing somebody that doesn't have a gun is police brutality. And a lot of the time, somebody walking around with a trench coat and they're just holding their jacket out. They don't have a weapon, but they will still get gunned down by police officers. Where are you watching your news at?
I don't watch the news.
Okay, well that's the problem.
come on.
The
Now
news.
we have addressed it. Like, that is the problem. Is
I am a millennial. We get our news from memes, okay?
he's not wrong.
It's not.
Absolutely 100% right on the.
TV news has an agenda. I don't fuck with that.
But that's why
I left agendas in high school.
That part. Middle school, nigga. The fuck?
And they have ratings, so there's
I didn't
that
even
too.
write in the bitches.
Just throwing that
That's
out there.
actually
I am
crazy.
so
Like,
sick of y'all. Like,
that news organizations have ratings, but it's like, aren't you supposed to just be giving me facts?
Exactly. You're just supposed to. Your job is to inform.
You're just supposed to let me know what the fuck's
But if
Not
not
be-
enough people
not to
are
appeal.
watching,
the point is to make
We're
money
gonna shut
though.
that
they
ass
have to
down.
stay relevant, so they talk about things that are relevant. It's
My Alexa device
Wait
gives
a
me
minute.
news.
Wait a minute. Do you have a fucking question?
I was just about to say I watched something on American Dad yesterday, and the girl, she was working.
No,
as
don't
news
give her a
reporter.
fucking mic.
She was working as a news reporter, and then she always created something different so she could stay relevant on the news. So that's mainly what I think the news is to me. I don't know any of it.
spot on.
This is true,
Actually,
and that's why
right.
I feel like in my life, like
No more
we
questions,
talk about
comments, or
police
complaints.
brutality and things like that, but like nobody talks about the good shit that they do or anything like that, and it's just like they're
'Cause that doesn't
pushing.
get views.
But my thing is the way
You
that
don't
they're
want to hear
pushing
about
it.
a firefighter taking a tree, a cat out of a tree.
Actually,
Yes, the fuck I do. I really do. That's
Based
great.
on
Yeah, that's
positivity
great.
That,
Cycles
these
we
these
have?
streets need.
Would that make you watch the news?
It
Yes,
would make me watch
I don't
the
watch
news.
it
It would make me.
anyways.
What?
I don't watch it anyways.
Okay.
I'm gonna tell you right now, but
That
I
So
mean,
what does it matter? What's on the news?
because there are people who do watch the news.
and it influences the world.
But what does it matter to y'all? What they're showing on the news? If none of y'all are
It's
saying,
like if
even
they-
if they hold on, even if they're showing that police officers are out here pulling cats out of trees and pulling kids out of burning buildings, what does that matter to you? If you're not
Maybe
watching
that
it?
would give
That
us more
makes me feel
trust in the
better.
police that they're doing good
You
things.
don't watch the news. Why are you basing your
Because
trust off what the
Alexa
news
tells
says?
me my news in the morning, and maybe
But I
she would
do.
tell me
That's
that
gonna
there was
come
cats
around.
rescued from trees.
You just pissed
Just
off
so we know, I do
audience
watch
by
the
saying
news.
Alexa.
I do watch the news. I like the Today Show, Good Morning America, all that dumb stuff. I watch it all.
I watch
My
the news.
nigga Trevor Noah tells me the news.
Oh, I do watch him too.
I love Trevor Noah. He's dope.
And I listen to him via Alexa in the morning.
Yikes.
I watch the World Star
but
Hip Hop
wait,
page for the
but
news.
Wait, even if police were out here on the news saving cats out of trees and shit,
Kissing black
you
babies.
said that you right.
Fuck no.
What are they doing?
Like you said that
Yes.
you would feel like, oh, we could trust them to do what they say.
Not
But-
exactly.
That's
but
what
if
you
the
said,
re-
though.
but hold
That's what you
on.
said.
I said it would
But
put
if the
more
reality-
trust.
It makes the morale better.
Why would it make more trust?
More
if
trust.
the statistics are
As in
Because
new
now every time I see the police in any
Or-
type of news clip on social media,
It's bad.
They are shooting a black person.
Wait a minute.
yeah.
She asked you a question.
Yikes.
Repeat your
Why
question.
would it put more trust?
Because right now it's at 0. So when you add a point to it, it's more trust. This is the 1 point.
So would you call them?
If my cat was stuck
Hold
out
on,
on the
hold
street.
on.
Like, I see y'all niggas doing your job.
I ain't calling no police to get the cat out my
Right.
tree. I'm gonna just climb that motherfucker. Easy.
That cat gonna fuck you up.
Actually, cats can
Nah,
climb
that's-
down themselves. So
Yeah, I know they
we
can.
are not gonna.
There's
But
easier
That's
ways
not
to
the point.
play
It's neither
yourself.
here nor
won't.
there. It's neither here nor
The
there.
cat won't.
There's easier ways to play yourself than to call 911 and be like, "Hey, my cat's stuck in a tree," so they can laugh at you.
You'll
like,
still get shot.
I don't need that, you know.
He has
They're
donuts.
like, "Wait, are you black? We're sending an officer now."
But I don't know. Like for me, if you ask me, I've never really had a problem with the police ever. But I'm scared of the police because of what I see every day. If I saw better things in the media and I saw better things online and different things like that, it would make me feel a type of way. Because I mean, if you ask me, Prince William County, I mean, I don't think anybody's getting shot around here. They're getting shot around America. But now I'm scared of the Prince William County police because of what's going on in America and what's being shown.
Let me ask this question: do y'all base y'all
can agree with that.
experiences with the cops off of your personal experiences, or do you base it off of what you
Both.
see in the news?
Both.
Okay, which one's more a contributing factor?
My personal experiences, because I'm like, anytime I needed a cop to help me, they did.
Have you ever been in a situation where you felt like a cop was gonna beat your ass?
Yes.
Yes.
Beat my ass? No.
Dive in it.
Maybe.
Dive in. Whoa.
No, stop. Seriously, dive in it. Explain the situation in which you thought that you were face to face with a cop and you thought that cop was gonna fuck you up.
You sound really aggressive right now.
I am being much aggressive right now because you said yes. So
Yeah,
I
I
need,
kinda
I
wanna
need
hear
to
the
hear the
story,
reasoning
too.
behind this.
Right, yeah. So this one time, I was helping this woman in need. Well, at least I thought she was in need. Turns out she's crazy. But anyway, so I come knock on this nigga's door because she was like, oh, this nigga, he's a drug dealer and he's a killer and
Why are
blah,
you
blah,
knocking on
blah,
that
blah,
nigga's
blah,
door?
blah. Because I was going to handle it. I didn't need the police.
Oh, okay.
Didn't we just go through this? We went through this, right? Because I mean what I say and say what I mean. So, yeah. So, anyway, I was going to handle this shit, right? So, I come and I'm banging on his door. Yo, nigga, open up, right? So, then, turns out she was lying. This nigga is not like that at all. They call the police on me. There's an angry nigga at our door.
Were they
Doing
wrong for
this,
that?
this,
Let me
this,
ask you
this.
this.
No, they weren't. They weren't in the wrong. They weren't in the wrong.
So that's a situation where the police should have been beating your ass. It sounds like.
Wait, but when they came, yes, officer. No. See,
Okay.
What had happened was
Okay, does anybody
but
have a situation in
they
which the
cuffed
cop
me.
shouldn't have been beating their ass and then they felt like the cop was going to beat their ass?
Yes. I'm not gonna put too many names because it's a story. But I'm gonna just say I was out in a spot with a couple of my niggas, and we was doing some things, illegal things.
Okay, next.
Look,
Does
no,
anybody
it's not
know-
that. Wait a minute. But you ain't
So if you do something illegal, you deserve to get shot.
That's not what I'm saying, but all of y'all are like, y'all
But you-
are basing y'all experiences of when y'all doing shit y'all ain't got no business
But trust me.
doing.
Hold on,
but wait,
Nelson,
but that's
Nelson,
my
So that
point.
deserves you being shot.
But wait, there's more. But wait,
That's
there's
exactly
more.
what you're saying.
But
I
wait,
need
there's more.
I need a situation in which
I'm
you were
not
doing
done.
everything by the book and then you still felt like a cop
Wait.
was going to beat your
Just
ass.
wait.
That's all. I want a
Wait.
basis line
I'm
on
giving
you
you the
doing the
story.
right thing.
I'm trying to
and a
give you the
cop was
story.
still-
Nelson, he said it's a story.
It's a
So,
story.
Like, this is the beginning of the story. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, wait.
Like,
Bruh, he started off with, I was doing illegal shit.
Yes, but the police ain't know I was doing illegal shit. So let me tell the goddamn story, man. Shit. So
never mind. I was supportive. I don't know if I can stand behind this now.
look,
Go ahead.
look. We was chilling, doing some illegal things in the car, right? We see a lady. It's late at night. It's probably like 11 o'clock at night in a parking lot. Empty parking lot except for one car. Lady goes in her car. She drives around, leaves the parking lot. About 15 minutes later, police run by, right? We had already finished doing our illegal things. So we see him get out the car. He's looking elsewhere with his flashlight, looking around and shit. We're like, oh, okay, this nigga's looking for some shit. All right, let's just get the fuck. We start driving. He comes up, flashes his lights at us. Comes up to the car. The nigga in the driver's seat don't know how to keep his composure. And literally starts growling and shit at the police officer because he's
So
angry.
this- He's growling.
He's growling.
like a rock roller.
no.
Like a
Mental
chihuahua.
instability.
I was a police officer.
I would have
He wasn't just sitting there. He wasn't like that, but he's talking like this. like just like groaning and just extra,
Okay.
just being
That's-
extra.
Okay, that works.
I had so much faith in this story.
You lost it. You lost all the faith, right?
But this is the thing. With that going on, he has him get out the car or whatever. He has us get out the car, knowing everything that happens around everywhere else in the world. Not saying because I personally in Prince William County, I haven't dealt with any bad cops.
Fairfax County can suck a dick.
Facts.
I heard
That's
stories about
where
them.
my
I have
story
heard. I've
from.
heard.
Yeah, Fairfax County be fucking up.
I heard.
But I was in Manassas. I know Manassas niggas be tripping.
Oh yeah.
Manassas niggas be on some shit.
I don't go down there.
So
I live down there, unfortunately.
Exactly. Manassas niggas be on some shit. So I'm just thinking, okay, these niggas is crazy. And I know normal polices is crazy.
Polices.
I know these Manassas polices is out they shit. So I'm thinking, okay, hold on. Some shit might go down tonight, and I'm not prepared. Hey, look, this is real. This shit is real. I had a low-key a genuine fear, not necessarily that I was going to get shot, but that it was going to go further than what it needed to be. Simply because I've seen so much all around
The
everywhere.
fact that you were doing something illegal, and the fact that your homeboy was at, hold on, wait for it. The fact that you were doing something illegal, and the fact that like your homeboy was growling at the cop like a goddamn dog. You don't feel like those like that contributes to why a cop would come off a certain way to you? Because I feel like if you're growling at me, bro, I'm ready to fight you. Yeah, right. Like I gotta defend myself. You growling at me? There's something fucked up with you. Like you're crazy. You might be considered crazy. So now I have to be on the defensive.
I can understand the crazy
If
part.
a stranger walked up to you and started growling, you wouldn't be ready to fight.
That's not what happened.
You just said he walked up to the cop
He
and
walked
the
up
dude
to
was
the
growling
no,
at
he
him.
didn't
car
walk
walked
up
up
to
to him.
the
Actually, the
car.
cop walked up to the car.
The
so-
cop walked up to the car.
I want to hear the other story.
Window wasn't even all the way down.
I want to hear the other story.
My only thing is, why were you in the parking lot? Why weren't you at home? And that's my thing. Why you like if you got to do illegal things, do it at home.
See,
You're in the wrong.
And that's why I'm saying like that plays a contributing factor. Like,
Wait, it's not. I don't think it's a fear of police brutality. It's really
a fear of getting
niggas
caught
are
doing
they're
dumb shit.
afraid of the consequences.
Of their
you know what I'm
dumb
saying?
shit.
Like I'm afraid to see a cop. If I'm riding down the street, I just came from the bar. I know I had like 3 or 4 drinks in the last 10 minutes, and I see a cop. I'm afraid of cops. Now normally, you know what I'm saying, no man on this earth, you know what I'm saying, strikes fear into my heart. Period. But you know what I'm saying, after I had a couple drinks and like I see this cop, I'm like, please don't turn on your lights, please don't turn on your lights, please don't turn on your lights.
that part.
You know what I'm saying? Like I think it's more of a fear of the consequences.
And my thing is like, you know, that woman that just got shot in her house. Like outside of that story and outside of the man that got shot, somebody was doing something that they weren't supposed to be doing when it like you brought the attention to yourself, and it's just like I feel like a lot of
That's
times
what
with
I'm saying.
it,
Like,
you're
you
bringing
can't-
attention to yourself.
When you're gonna talk about like, I don't feel like I feel like a cop's gonna beat my ass when I'm just abiding by the law. In both of these cases, neither of you niggas will. Next.
I didn't do
What's
anything
your
illegal.
story?
What is
In terms of the
Knock on the door?
Stop, stop.
In
We've already addressed that you was knocking on some random people that
It's
you
not
didn't
illegal.
even know's
It's
door.
not illegal.
That's
That's
Okay.
true.
Knocking on a door isn't illegal.
trespassing.
Knocking on a nigga's door is
It's
trespassing.
trespassing.
Soliciting.
If you're on the front step,
If
that's
there's no sign that
trespassing.
says no soliciting, then
If you're on
Signs
the
don't mean
front
anything,
step,
So how does someone
that
receive
is
mail without
trespassing.
trespass? You can't.
Your mailbox is in front of your house.
If UPS man goes like this,
yeah, your mailbox
trespassing?
is
That is a
government
federal
property.
government. That's a federal job, sir.
what's that got to do with trespassing?
That's-
Federal people can't trespass. It's impossible.
No, that okay.
Not if they're just.
We've
we-
already
hold on, I
addressed
wanna
your
hear your
situation
story.
Put you in the wrong, and we've addressed why
I
your
don't know, you
situation
gotta
put you
got
in
a
the wrong.
point. You got a point.
We've
Trespassing
already
illegal is
addressed
illegal.
why both of y'all situations have put you in the wrong.
But
So-
listen, the police didn't know. The police
Explain.
did not know
It
that we were
does
doing
not
anything.
Sounds
illegal.
like you're
So
white
it's not a
splaining.
factor.
Why
Because
not?
you're white splaining.
It's like saying I shouldn't go to jail even though I did this illegal shit because they can't
No one did
prove
anything
it. Like,
illegal.
No, it's not about they couldn't prove it. They literally did not know. They came because the lady said.
But you make it sound like you were in the clear because they didn't
No,
know.
I'm
like
making.
you were doing
No,
nothing wrong.
I'm making it
technically
seem.
that's how
I'm
it
making it
works.
seem like, to his knowledge, yeah, for that part, yes, to his knowledge, there was nothing illegal happening.
That's
That's
the
not
only part
right.
care
I mean,
about. Like,
Because why were you in that
I don't
parking
know.
lot? Like
Like,
you
in
the
my
only
head-
person there?
Wait,
it was
wait.
us
We gonna
and
spend-
there was another
Hold
car.
on. Afia, tell your story because I can't with these niggas,
So many moons ago,
which is what this episode is brought to you by.
I was
Niggas.
So many moons ago, I was in an interracial relationship with this white guy named Joe. He's cool.
Yikes.
He's dope.
Well, you were already doing something illegal.
And oh my god.
Damn.
Throwback.
Woo! It
Hashtag
was
for the culture, huh?
2000 whatever year. But no, so we were coming back from a party or whatever, and as we're driving back, we made a wrong turn, so we busted a U in the neighborhood. And after we're leaving, like, this cop just started to follow us, like, all the way back to his house. And I'm like, well, that's weird. And then the cop comes out, pulls us over in front of his house, and he asks for license and registration. We asked why we were being stopped, and he said, oh, I saw you guys make that turn back there. Not really sure what you two kids were up to. First of all, I was grown. Second of all,
How grown?
I was like 21 or something. But
That's grown.
That's real grown.
I was paying my own bills.
Okay.
That's grown.
All right. All right, grown people.
So, but yeah, so like
All you 21-year-olds out there that just heard what she said, you're not grown, okay?
If you are
She might
paying your
be
own
grown.
bills,
you paying
But y'all
your own
ain't-
if you are paying your own bills, you are grown.
That does not make you grown.
Just because you go to the 7-Eleven and buy your own candy don't make you mean you paying your own bills. You're not
No.
grown.
When I was 21, I was paying my own rent. I was paying my phone bill. I had all my bills to myself. So I was real grown at 21. So don't.
Just because y'all out here at the 7-Eleven buying your own candy don't mean y'all paying your own bills.
But
Okay?
anyhow, yes, I was old enough to be making my own choices and to drink. So the officer said, okay, ma'am, I'm gonna need your identification as well. I'm like, why? And he's like, well, I just want to check the identification on both of you. I said, well, you still haven't told us why we've been stopped. And yes, this is my car. Here's my registration. Here's the information. I gave him everything he wanted. I didn't give him too much of a hard time. But we'd been yet to told why we were stopped. Then he kept asking the white gentleman that I'm with if I was his girlfriend. Over and over and over and over again because he thought I was a prostitute. So,
Never mind. Sorry.
yeah.
Wait for it.
So after he wasn't sure if I was his girlfriend, he calls another cop car. And now we got 2 cop cars in front of this man's house, and they're asking us why we turned around. I said we were lost. And he said, okay, well, there's a park over there where people usually go to do stuff, and blah, blah, blah. And I said, what are you insinuating? And the fact that he could not look me in my face and tell me why we'd been stopped and why he told me he needed my identification and why he kept asking if I was this young man's girlfriend. And he said, I've already answered this question. I don't understand what the problem is. He starts getting angry. And now cop says, step out. So now both of us are in a situation where both of us are being asked to step out the car. I'm like,
You were driving?
you're going to be, no. It was my car, but I was not driving that evening.
My only question was a U-turn that you made illegal.
No.
So he really pulled over
There
because he
was-
thought you were
when
he
I
thought you were a
tell
prostitute.
There was no reason for us to be stopped and no reason for us to have that much police intervention, and why I was sitting outside in the freezing cold with shorts and a t-shirt on being asked if I was this man's girl. Like,
I got a question.
That's actually my question.
yeah.
What?
Why you wearing shorts and a t-shirt?
T-shirt
Yo, hold on.
in the winter time.
It wasn't winter. It was just a cold summer night.
Okay.
Like, it was
Fair
cold.
enough.
Yeah.
Okay. Here's my question.
Now, if you'd seen what I was wearing before the shorts and t-shirt. I
You dig.
mean, we were at a party and I just happened to change. It's a t-shirt. and
So here's my question.
Yeah.
Being that you had that story, which
Yeah.
sounds legitimate comparatively, do you base every encounterment with a cop off of that situation? Or do you still
Fairfax.
dial 911 when somebody breaks into your house?
Well, no one's been stupid enough to break into my house.
Do you
but
dial 911 when somebody
Um,
breaks into your house?
I would dial 911.
Now, how is it that the person who actually made a very strong argument as to why she's been involved in a situation?
Your opinion? Continue.
In which-
I got real shit, like real problems with police officers right now. Like real
And she
ones
would
in
still
I'm not
dial
saying you don't.
911.
I'm not saying you
But
don't.
the other 2 people, that was
Yeah.
one doing illegal shit in a parking lot and banging on some strangers' doors.
Because as
are the
men,
ones
we like handling things on our own. We don't need to lend on another man. No
I
offense.
don't- I
No
mean,
offense.
You know, I think that
Your daddy never changed your diaper?
To my knowledge, no. I don't know that. Did
Top
he?
that joint off
I'm
himself.
Pretty sure my dad's never.
Yeah. I think my mom's been. Mom's been the one changing my diaper. So yeah.
Wait, now that
Mom
you
and
brought up that point, do you feel like it's different between black men and black women?
Right on the street, I'm a suspect.
I don't know.
Because I'm thinking
Sandra
that you,
Bland
I'm
died in
thinking
her
that all
jail.
this happened with the story, right? But he originally let you all go.
Yeah, he let us go.
Do you think he wouldn't? Do you think he wouldn't have let you go if it was a black man?
White girl?
Probably not.
But the questions would have been different.
For questions probably would have been
Absolutely.
different.
Ma'am, are you here
Like,
against your
ma'am,
will?
are you against? Yeah.
You done heard a lot of boys. Hey boy,
Yeah. No.
what you doing with that white girl, boy?
Never had a cop call me boy.
I've never had a cop call me girl.
Congratulations.
I don't think there's a man
I
still
think you
alive
just
to call
rubbed
me
Because I would
bro.
just
Way.
correct them. Like,
Now-
I'm not a girl.
Let's go here with this. Now, everybody's opinion on cops and stuff like that, and how we are almost distrusting of cops. You think that comes from a basis on like how we view ourselves, or how we feel about ourselves, like how we are viewed to everybody else?
I think it's how we're viewed to everybody else.
As in our reflection, our self-reflection, or what we think the world sees us as. Which one are you asking?
Like, you don't think both of them plays a contributing factor? Like the way we view ourselves, or the way we view the black community, like us ourselves. Are you gonna call the cops on another black person, knowing that he's liable to get his ass beat?
Hell no.
You're not gonna call. If
Me?
you see a black guy doing some illegal shit, you're not gonna call the cops on
This
him?
ain't none of my fucking business, nigga.
Facts.
Damn, I better mind your
This ain't
business.
none of my
None
fucking
of my
business, nigga.
fucking business.
Where you grow up, you snitch ass nigga?
Let me ask this question.
However, if
What
I
if that,
was-
a black guy's doing some illegal shit that affects you? Are you gonna call the cops?
Right. No. Even better question. Would you say I was in the wrong if I saw like a black guy raping your sister,
Right.
and I said that's none of my business?
Right.
I still wouldn't call the police though.
What?
Police wouldn't be the move. That nigga's just gotta go.
Oh yeah. I'm whooping that nigga's ass. If some nigga raping, I see a nigga, somebody raping
Hey,
somebody.
on the
nigga?
police.
Hey, so y'all know y'all going to jail for that, right? Y'all cool with that, right?
Yeah.
We all on the same
I'm
page.
cool going to jail for defending someone else's life from being raped. I am 100% good
You
with
can
that.
also
But why not call the
take
cops?
care of that situation by calling the cops.
While
and not
mid-rape,
going to jail.
or you just watch him.
I
Hey, cops,
can't-
see
I
this
can't
guy
really-
raping this
I
dude.
can't
I'm gonna let
agree
him
with that.
finish though.
I can't agree with that statement. With a lot of women who try to go to the police about that kind of stuff
Are silenced.
They're silenced. They don't get it taken care of.
Agreed, but
So that means
More,
that's about help.
more than not.
whoa.
I'm gonna handle that shit.
Especially black women.
Whoa. Let's not get off topic. We're not talking about rape here.
Y'all striking. Y'all striking.
We're not talking about that
Nerves right
here.
now, like,
We're not talking
ooh.
about that. We are still talking about the reflection of ourselves within the black community.
Well, I
But-
mean, you remember in my episode when I was telling you that I never really understood or I never really felt racism until I got out of high school and things like that. I wasn't really scared of the police either. I remember going on a trip. They took me down to like do some police fun trip or whatever, like integration in the community type thing. And I didn't really see it till I got older. And I feel like the way everybody looks at us, that's why I feel the way about police. Just because I know that when I have to deal with them, or if I get pulled over, and then all of a sudden I have four
But my-
cops behind me.
My question is,
'Cause I'm black.
do you think that like the way some people out here carry themselves, we look at as that is a determinant factor of how we're viewed?
Yes.
Like the way some of our fellow blacks carry themselves out in public, and they do draw attention to themselves, is that
I'm sure that's a factor.
nigga characteristic?
Just
I mean,
nigga like
but real
I'm
talk,
sure it's a
I'm
factor.
pretty sure almost everybody at this table could probably agree. Like, if there's like a line of suspects and something got stolen, if there's a black guy among the suspects, we'd probably all pick the black guy. And
Actually,
we are black.
statistically,
White
white
people
women
steal
are
way
the
more.
ones who steal the most.
We're not talking about black
I
women.
mean,
We're talking about
obviously.
black people. Right
So
now.
I would
bunch
think.
of
Let's
dudes.
stay on topic
It's a bunch of
us
dudes.
talking about how we view ourselves within the black community.
It also depends on what's being stolen.
Okay.
All right.
These are facts.
black people don't
So,
do anything.
If it was
That-
watermelon, it was 100% the niggers.
Why the ER, bruh?
It's watermelon.
that's why.
The stereotype gets the ER. That easy.
Yep.
Hip hop music, nigger. Fried chicken, nigger. Any other kind of chicken, nigger.
Wait,
Even if you're not black.
liking chicken is automatically put you in the niggers.
Yep, put you in the nigger section.
You get the hard on.
Every race has a nigger section. These are facts.
That is true.
The niggas.
Facts.
Facts.
Rednecks are the niggas of the white people. Or the niggers of the white
Yeah,
They're the
I think you
niggers
meant
of the white
ER.
people.
I think you meant the ER.
Hard.
No, I'm asking because like you.
I would say corporates are the niggas because they the hustlers. They the go getters.
Let's go back on topic.
That
part.
Because you wanted to talk about self-hate within the black community.
I think his topic was first though.
You wanted to talk about self-hate within the black community. My job. Thank you. Did you have something, or did you want to skip? Did you?
Okay, I mean, we want to dive for shit. Look.
Like, I think I know what I'm doing.
I don't know, because I don't know what you're doing, bro.
This is episode 10.
This is gold.
I don't know where this shit was going.
It's
Anyway,
almost like this is episode 10.
I mean,
And I've been the host for every episode.
yeah. Oh,
Did
okay.
you want to talk about?
Sure. Yeah. Self-hate in the black community.
Okay.
Right. So I view this as self-hate is like a virus. It's like a bug. It's passed down on from one individual to another individual, and then we inflict this self-hate on ourselves, and then we project that self-hate to other people. It started actually with the whites. They hate themselves, so then they taught us to hate ourselves. So think about it.
Right,
think about it. They make fun of our nigga lips, but they get injections for theirs. They make fun of our dark ass skin, but they go getting tan theirs like ours.
Wait. What does that have to do with
I'm just saying,
hate within the black community?
I'm getting there. It's a
No,
process.
just go
It's a
there.
process.
Don't get there.
It's a
Go there.
process. It's a process.
Don't explain white culture
So
to me.
you want me to just to say self-hate just appeared into the black community?
No, I don't need a basis around how it came from white people, because I don't think like we picked up how to hate ourselves from white people. Especially since you're talking about living
What?
Slave days, nigga.
Nigga, what?
Where
Where are you?
What's
Where are you, my nigga?
That's where house nigga Phil nigga came from.
Right, exactly.
100%.
Exactly.
He's talking about black people started hating themselves because white people hate themselves. That's what he's talking about.
And then they taught us, and from that they taught us to hate them.
Stop. That was not your argument. You said white people make fun of black people lips.
Well, if
but
you
then
let
they
me
wanna
finish fucking talking,
No,
I
no,
can
no.
go through the steps, my
Because
nigga.
you stopped when you tried to attack
I stopped
my
when
point.
you interrupted me.
When you
I
tried
stopped
to
when you
attack-
interrupted me.
When you tried to attack my point, in which that was, you were saying that white people talk about how they feel about black people lips, but then they get lip injections. And we don't base our fucking self-hate off of white people hating themselves, especially off of lip injections. How long have white people been doing lip injections for? Because it ain't been longer than black people have been hating black people.
Facts.
I think that if you're
When
going
did
to
Uncle
argue-
Tom become a
That kind of comes
I
along
think
with
that
technology and
yeah.
technology advancements.
Well, I mean, really, if you really go back, like, you know, we were selling ourselves. Like, what's it called? When they were bringing us from Africa and things like that. Like,
Yeah, but
it's
think about
deeper
this.
than that.
But think about
but
this too.
where'd the
If somebody
self-hate come
comes
from?
to your house with a gun, like, we just
Why
talked
did we
about
start
guns
hating
and shit,
ourselves?
But I'm saying, like, if
What was there to hate?
I mean, doesn't anybody have, like, I feel like you have to take that outside of being black. Like, even just as a person, doesn't everybody kind of hate something about themselves?
themselves naturally.
No.
Just naturally?
No, I love myself so fucking much, bro. There is no self-hate in my bones.
Other people.
Nothing can be better about you?
But you hate other people. That's
I don't hate anybody. There's no hatred in my bones.
You've literally said I equally hate people so many times
No.
in our friendship.
I don't think I have. I think you're making that up. So anyway,
I think that if you're going to argue that white people are the core reason why black people hate themselves, like we were just talking about historical references being a reason, that's one thing.
it's a contributing
But
factor.
you can't say
But
that white
you
people
can't-
hating themselves is the basis behind
Right.
black people hating themselves. You can say white people hating
I
black
was
people
talking
is a
about the
basis
rug.
between. That's what you said, Quinn. You talked about that the fact
Also
that.
wasn't finished, but okay. I understand what you're saying.
Hold on. Because I'll be excited about this. Tell me how you were going to roll into talking about how white people hate nigger lips and then get lip injections, into talking about how
That one specific thing wasn't the basis.
that was very relevant to the conversation.
those
That's
were-
how you opened it up.
Those were.
Well, I would like to know how you were going to finish that.
Me too.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Make sure you.
I appreciate you, brother.
Make sure you include lip injections.
Absolutely.
That was very important.
Thank
Lip
you.
injections was already included.
Thank you. Because what a lip injection is something to augment a body part of your own.
Can you pull the mic away from your mouth? Holy shit.
Because you are lacking.
Time out. Pause.
So it's the self-image.
But what does that have to do with like white people's self-image? What does that have to do with black people's self-image?
Okay, so that's where I'm getting at. Thank you. Anyway, so negative self-image, right? So I don't like these things about me. Then to make myself feel better, I'm gonna say, well, I don't like these things about you.
Okay.
Because it makes me feel better. It makes me feel superior. Because I'm saying, you're the dirt. You're the trash. You're the piece of shit. Not me. That's how you pass down the self-hate. So it originates with them, and it trickled down to us.
So you're saying that nobody ever hated themselves before white people?
Well, no one's going extinct and mass
Wait, hold
dying
on. Is that what you're saying?
again.
Like nobody hated themselves before white people?
No, that's what you're saying. But
I'm asking you,
I
is
said
that
what I
what
said.
you're
No,
saying?
what I said was I say. I was saying what I said.
I
said what
I'm
I'm
saying
saying.
we got a whole basis on self-hate from white people hating themselves, and I would absolutely disagree with that.
So
I think
that's fine.
hatred
You're allowed to do
is
that.
part of every human. I don't think race has anything to do with that. I feel like humans hate
That's nice.
humans in general.
Right. So
And,
I agree.
We actually have years of facts to prove that. Like niggas
I
have
agree.
been fighting since
Self-hate
the
has
beginning.
always been a thing individually. What we're not talking about. We're talking about black people as a whole. That's what the conversation is. As a whole.
I agree.
And even black people were fighting black people before white people
Of
came
course.
along.
Black people were selling
they
black
still
people
were-
before
I mean-
white people were buying black people.
I mean,
So-
at one time there were
Black
only
people
black people.
still
Black
hated people as a
of
whole.
today, though?
Hmm?
Well, if you're talking about just the black people in America, you're saying that we all like only hate ourselves because I mean, it wasn't because of lip injections. I can tell you that.
No, it wasn't.
It wasn't
No,
because
it
of
wasn't.
them like
I
admiring
think it was
something that
based
we
off of
had.
expectation.
Of
What?
expectation?
Expectation.
Of what?
Why we hate ourselves, or why we negatively look upon ourselves, is because we expect more.
Because there's
Like,
been
think
a
about-
message perpetuated
Think
to
about-
our image that has been negative.
Think of, yes, I
Like-
agree.
We were taught
But-
everything about us was bad.
Negative scale.
Your hair, you're not allowed to wear that hair. This is not a professional environment. You're not allowed to look like this, look like. Basically, you're black.
But
You're not
we're
allowed to look
talking
black.
about other people's hate. We're talking about self-hate. We're talking
Right.
about
So when you're
the black
taught
community.
everything about you is wrong, you're gonna eventually hate yourself.
But we're not addressing how other people feel. We're addressing how we feel.
Right.
And
So
they-
we feel
Are you
based
still-
off of
Are you still basing the
I
fact that
think-
like how you felt about or how you feel about other black people or white people's fault?
how
Or is that
I
your
feel.
fault?
Are you asking how I feel
Yes,
about black
we're talking
people?
about hate within a self-community. So I gotta stop.
I don't
bringing
hate
it back to
anybody.
how-
I love everybody.
I think that maybe what we're trying to get to is how are we perpetuating these issues? Like, how is it staying alive?
Because I hate niggas that sag their pants. You can call that self-hate within the black community, but I can't stand that shit.
I mean,
I
can
look
you
down
explain?
on niggas that sag their pants.
Can you explain to me black on black crime? Like that's a form of safe help, like self-hate. Like I just don't really understand. It's
So
just
I
like we're fighting
think-
between each other.
But
I got
is
something
white
with-
people's fault?
so-
Like,
so-
we have never committed
so-
crime if it wasn't for white people.
I didn't say that.
I
So
know.
I think when you're doing crimes, you're most likely to do it within your community because that's where you live. So it's just because niggas never leave the hood. So where they're gonna do the crime in the hood.
The hood don't leave the niggas.
But
Maybe
why,
for Jay-Z or Beyonce.
But why are we killing our brothers though?
But all right,
Like,
again,
why are we killing each other?
Because we don't see
just
color?
understand.
Oh yeah, because we're wearing different colors. Actually, it's the colors that normally causes the blacks to kill the other blacks. Just because they're
you
different.
blue? I don't like blue. I'm red, bro.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I'm green. I don't like. Yeah, it goes there.
I mean, does anybody know how that ever started?
What?
Like,
Gangs?
yeah,
It was based off of a more positive note.
Yep.
because weren't they originally helping the
protecting-
community? Right?
Protecting,
Yep.
Based off of a more positive note.
but then
And then
We're not gonna
niggas ain't
have
shit.
a long ass drawn out gang conversation right here right now.
Alright.
But it was originally based off a more positive note, and it turned into something stupid.
Okay.
Like some of these Black Panther militia niggas that are out here these days. It's not about the cause anymore. It's just about fighting the white man. Like
Isn't
we've
that the
lost-
cause?
A lot of our rootings we've lost over time.
I gotta agree with
no,
that.
no, I'm just joking.
I was about to say. Ooh.
I mean, I can speak to like just the female experience of just being a woman in general. Like
And how
it is a
y'all-
prime example.
Be looking at each other.
Just like self-imposed
Hot girl summer.
hate. I thought it was fuckboy fall.
Oh yeah, we here. We here. We in this bitch.
No, like one of the biggest things that I've realized is like females will hate on a female.
Hard.
No, like nobody hate a bitch more than a bitch.
It's like competition out there. I don't know what it is.
But I feel like
Wait.
I feel
I
like
don't know.
I feel like you're totally right, but that's why I feel like it's just a natural human thing that people do. Like I don't think it matters whether you're black, white, whatever. Like I think that's just naturally you look at somebody and you want to be better than them.
It's almost primal.
Yep.
I think if
I'm
we're talking
100%
about
agree with that.
millennials, like if we're talking about our generation as a whole right now, I don't think color has a fucking thing to do with it.
You think so?
I really don't. I think that
Because I don't think we're paying attention to the white people that are out here. I think we're only looking at each other. And I think that's where the self-hate within the community comes from.
I think social media is causing self-hate.
Yeah, because you're always looking at what somebody else got and you hating on them.
I can agree with that. I don't think social media causes self-hate.
It's the people on it.
You call self-hate.
I mean, yeah, you cause self-hate, but I'm saying, like, imagery, constantly pushing that shit into your own mind on a regular basis is going to formulate some shit that is going to cause you to look at yourself different. But if you're not a mentally strong person, that shit is going to do its job, which is alter your mentality.
This is true.
But then I feel like that's where you take the step to control what you allow in.
Yeah.
Right.
Because you can't, something that didn't come in can't come out.
Right.
You can't dish out hate that was never there in the first place.
Yeah, you got to build it yourself, man.
So.
I mean, somebody can. You can also have it influenced upon you, but
So it wasn't white people all along.
didn't say that. No.
I'm not going to jump to that whole
'Cause
conclusion,
let's-
but I think
I
they
mean-
play a part.
Because all,
Yeah,
you're,
but
all
I
you're
think-
telling me is the way
again-
we're acting right now is we're still letting white people control us. That's a big
Allow
factor
it.
in
So
itself.
a lot of people, yeah. Not me personally, but a lot of people, yeah.
That's a pretty good topic of discussion.
Yeah. Controller.
Nah.
Controller.
So,
As a whole, they got it.
wait, they've won?
Not that they've won. In terms of what we allow. In terms of what we allow, they got it. Look at all the businesses that all of us work for. I know none of us work for. I'm pretty sure the CEO of any of our companies that we work for is black. Yours is?
I'm a CEO of my company.
Oh, go ahead, Charlotte.
All right. Black girl magic.
I mean,
Yeah.
But if they call y'all into work, y'all gonna go in, right? Whether you don't want to or not. If they hey, you need to come in or you're fired.
They are the
I'm
powers
gonna
of
come
the
in.
be. I mean,
I'm gonna come
I
in.
mean, I won't even say. I mean,
We allow it.
I think it's even a little bit more sophisticated than that. Because at this point, like even like as a culture, like you gotta all right. I'm sure everybody in here seen Django, right?
Yeah.
Dingo fighting.
Yeah.
oh,
Yeah.
God.
Have y'all ever seen a boxing match
Right.
or a UFC fight? Y'all never see any. Y'all notice any similarities in that? Like black people are actually proud of dominating the entertainment industry.
Right.
But when you think about it, like
who control that?
exactly, like I mean,
That
we
was
watching
real.
basketball. Yeah, like that player gets paid millions.
They're
There's
performing
somebody who is
for-
paying him.
You know, they
those
literally
millions.
called them their owner.
Yeah, exactly. It's puppet strings.
Based off of like the history in which we've suffered from like slavery and discrimination and stuff like that.
Like the
Like,
concept
but
of
then it-
entertainment.
No, and that's what it was.
Entertainment.
Even in
People
slavery,
are
sorry, my bad.
entertained.
Even in slavery, that's what it was. I mean, that's what it was to them. It was entertainment. So
Yeah.
now we've traded instead of doing it because if not we get beat or like killed. Now it's they'll just pay us for it.
Yeah.
So we're performing.
It's just a different
So we're
incentive.
still performing for
But,
master,
Basically,
regardless.
because in a reference, you're talking about the fact that like we basically almost from our slave heritage, we've almost begun to embrace damn near all the wrong things that were done to us. Like
Oh,
we're
no,
openly
100%.
accepting it now.
I
and
wouldn't
trying
say
to
that.
make but that's kind of
To an
argument.
extent.
he's
Like,
making.
when
He's
you-
like, you used to have niggas fighting, and at a point they were fighting for their lives or their freedom or just to satisfy one man. Now we were okay with that. Now we're okay with fighting for the satisfaction of somebody else, as long as we're filling our.
I
checks
don't
from
even
it.
think the focus point should be what we're okay with. I think the focus point should be. So yes, we were fighting for our lives. We were fighting for their entertainment. Now we're okay with fighting
For their
each other,
entertainment.
but we're still fighting. Like for them, it hasn't changed. It's still been for their
still in
entertainment.
the-
But my thing
their
is,
entire
my
time.
thing is like when like with Jay-Z, didn't he just like try and buy like some team in the
Right.
NFL? or
Gain
something
some
like
of the
that?
power, and what we
Absolutely.
gave them shit for it.
Exactly. We went
Exactly.
back and tore him down. Like it's like anytime a black
is
person gets
we?
like a. I mean,
them.
The masses.
them,
The
I'm
masses
sorry,
is
them. It's like anytime a black person does something,
Right.
we gotta tear it all down.
crabs in the barrel mentality.
But
Self-hate.
Kanye's new album
Was fire.
Alright.
It
Gold.
was fire,
But
but
you see
we're
what
still
you
gonna
see
hate that
what-
nigga for it.
But think about the people who are not hating on Kanye right now, but
You were
just
Uncle
shat
Tom's.
on Jay-Z.
Shout out to Kanye
Like-
West, my favorite rapper. But we're Uncle
You know?
Tom's.
But
If you
even
support Kanye
even
West,
looking
you're
at
Uncle
Kanye doesn't get 100% of that money.
I know.
it still goes to somebody else.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? Like it's still, and now it's gotten even to the point where we're making them more money than we're even making for ourselves, and we're idolizing that. And not only is it, I mean, like it's instilled into you. Oh, my son's gonna be a ball player. My son's gonna be a
Whoa.
I caught it.
We'll get there.
Okay. All right. I hear you.
I saw where you were diving.
I hear you.
We'll get there.
I'm just saying.
But
you know.
That was good.
Whoa. But no, because what I really want to touch on is one of your topics that you brought up was the post-traumatic slave syndrome and like the mentality that we have and how we are okay with the way we view ourselves because of where we've come from. Like you brought up the fighting and like how we were fighting for entertainment. Now it's okay because we're filling our pockets. But that mentality, there's still something wrong with that mentality.
Because we're still fighting for their entertainment.
You're
Exactly.
still accepting that fact.
Oh,
So
yeah.
How contributing is that post-traumatic slave syndrome to how we are as millennials in today's society?
I mean, it's literally just been, it's like a trickle-down effect. I mean, it's almost, I watched this documentary on Netflix. It was, what was it, the 13th Amendment? Or something like that. Have you seen it? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
And just watching this documentary just showed me that, like, slavery just evolved.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it always just changed forms. So, like, we never really actually stopped being slaves. We just always just moved into the next step of, like, when I heard Kanye's new Slave, I didn't realize, like, how, like, spot on this was. You know what I mean? Like, I'm thinking, all right, okay, I hear you.
Still one of
like,
his worst albums.
all right.
Sleep.
I mean, I'm thinking like, okay, I hear you. Like, you're rich, so the white people want you to come in and spend your money on them so they can take it from you. Obviously, whatever.
Yeah.
But I didn't realize that. You know, I'm like, where's this been at? Where was this in the '90s? I didn't see any new slavery. Little did I know.
It was here the whole time.
Yeah, it's never went anywhere. Like they've
gotten really good at masking it. Well, no, not they've gotten good at masking it. We've got good at not acknowledging it. For
It's
what it
both.
is.
Right.
It's so close to our faces we can't even see it.
But I don't think that's on them. I think that's on us.
I think it's on
Us
both.
as the black
I think it's on
community.
both.
Nah, I'm not gonna blame white people for me not
You don't blame
acknowledging
white people for
slavery.
anything.
What?
What?
What'd you say? No, what'd you say?
I said you don't blame white people for anything.
I don't blame them for
Anything.
some issues that we can solve within the community because at that point I feel like those are issues that we can solve ourselves. I'm not blaming what the fuck did you just say? Because he threw me off. The last thing I just responded to you that you said.
I can't remember.
Yeah, God damn.
Oh yeah, wait. It's so close to our faces that we can't
Yes,
even
it's
see
so
it?
close to our faces that we
Boom.
can't even see. I'm not blaming white people for that. I'm not blaming white people for us not being able to acknowledge the problems that we as the black community are not going through. If we can't see that shit,
we ain't
that's
woke.
on us.
We ain't
So
woke.
who can't see it?
Eyes closed.
If we can't see that shit, if we as the black community can't see that shit, that's on us, not the
So
white community.
It's on both.
I would
Shame,
say-
shame on you for trying to get me like this. Shame on me for letting it happen.
But my
It's
thing is
both.
like, and I don't know. I wouldn't
At this day
blame
and
white
age,
people.
I feel like we're further past where I'm.
I think
we
a
need
lot
to
of
solve
us
this
do
time.
see
Yeah,
it.
but it's still
I think a lot of us do see
But
it.
not all of us.
There's documented
You're
time
A lot
in
of us
history where
don't
we
have
did
the
see
power
it,
to
but
do
we can't-
anything.
Yeah, we couldn't
But
do anything.
I feel like
can't do
I feel
anything
like
about it, but
everybody
y'all
needs to
have
take the
history
black
now.
and white out of it. Take the black and white out of it. What's really happening is that it's money, and that's how they keep us fighting with
That's
each
weird.
other.
It's like slavery was based off a class system and not race.
I mean, I understand what you're saying, but I'm saying now what we go through now, like there are some white people that go through some of the stuff that we do now. It's poor people, and they keep us
No, yeah.
fighting with each other.
Based off of
There's
a
black,
class
there's
I
black
agree.
people with money that still go through.
I agree.
Go through this kind of stuff.
Yep.
So look at some of the what's called hip hop moguls of today.
They'll still get their
You
ass
know,
beat in the
some
middle
of
of the street
some
by
of
bad
the
police
shit
officers.
that they had to do for the white man, to the white man, with the white man.
Back to what you were saying about the classism, gentrification is nothing but the elimination of the middle class.
Right.
It's just rich versus poor.
Absolutely,
That's exactly what it is.
that's why I feel like I mean, not that I don't miss out, like not that I don't see racism and different things like that, but I feel like they keep that in our faces. They keep pumping it and everything like that, just so we don't realize. Wait,
Right.
no, this motherfucker got money. These people with money are fucking everybody.
Yeah.
Because this
agree.
generation is not, like I said, I don't think it's so much a color issue. I
No.
think it is social construct issues, economic construct issues.
It's like we're going backwards with slavery.
It's right.
Because we started with a class-based system, and then we moved into a race-based system, and now we are back into a class-based system.
Right, like racism
Slavery,
was
we were
like,
full circle.
was
They,
like
they were able to
2019.
manipulate the race system into the classes.
Nothing is new
Right.
underneath the sun.
Are you you just saying shit just to say shit?
Quotes.
It be like that sometimes.
Okay.
I mean,
That's went over a lot of heads.
But I feel
I'll give you that. It did.
but
Half the audience just went, what?
you said
What did
post-
J. Cole have to do with this? Let me stop.
You said post-traumatic slave syndrome.
Mm-hmm.
Post-traumatic slave syndrome is a real thing, though.
It is.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
It is so, and that's what's keeping the community at the level it's at.
Now, here's my question.
It's a huge part of it.
Post-traumatic slave syndrome, is it more mental or physical?
Mental.
mental.
Definitely mental.
It's a mental game now.
I mean, I would have.
It's
To, I mean, it
all
would
the
have to
brain.
be mental.
You think about what
I think
it
it's
is.
a mental.
mental?
I think it's a mental game turned physical.
Break down the words.
Ooh.
Wait, hold on though.
It was okay. I'm gonna run off that.
Yeah.
It was a physical game that broke the mentality,
Mm-hmm.
and now it's a mental issue that's leading to physical harm as well. So it's like you're
Full circle.
not really.
It's ping pong.
Not.
No, and it's
getting
Nothing
crazy.
is
ping
new
pong.
It's
under the
crazy
sun.
because
I agree with you.
you know when you hear about like the redlining and how like certain like black people can get loans for certain
Correct.
homes,
Mhm.
certain things like that. Like it's so deep into the weaved in, like it's just like crazy. How do you get
That's
yourself
why I
out?
think it's not just a mentality, but
All
I
right,
think
so
it's more physical.
we're not actually addressing the
hold
word.
on. I think it's still. I know. I got you. I think it's still like when me and Vaughn did episode 3 and me and Malcolm did episode 8. We talked about how what we're doing nowadays, the investments that we're making, and how we're managing our money is some other white person's great grandfather.
Yeah.
But that's
Generational
the
wealth doesn't
disadvantage
exist
that
for a
we
lot.
have. That is the disadvantage that black people have in America.
Yeah.
That's why I asked: is it mental or is it physical, or can it be both?
It's both.
Definitely both.
Absolutely both.
Yeah,
Because
definitely
it's
probably
not
both.
just
But I would say-
financial that's being affected too. You have whole communities that don't like. I don't know if anybody's driven through Baltimore lately,
Mhm.
but it is just empty fucking blocks, just blocks and blocks.
They're beginning
of
to-
blocks of
To
empty.
gentrify over there.
Listen, if people don't realize how the cycle works, like you said, it's so close to our face, we can't even see it. It's not just cycled to just race anymore. It's financial
Mm-hmm.
strangulation.
Mm-hmm.
It's the post-traumatic stress. It's every facet of the black experience, but of the human experience that people are just getting snuffed the fuck out.
Mm-hmm.
So we need to be real about it.
But I mean, I also think that we have some things that like in ourselves, like you know how DC is getting gentrified, like they just rebuilt the wharf and everything like that.
Running at 10
But-
o'clock at night in Southeast, and she was a white woman.
Right, that's what I'm saying. But
I
like
was
it's
where
like
the fuck am I?
they are giving you opportunities. Like you get what is it when they lower your rent, or like they have to make so much affordable housing, and a lot of people just don't take advantage of the opportunities that they have. Like you got to go out and get some stuff for yourself too. Not everything gets handed to you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, just trying to keep the community together is hard.
And that's the
Even
thing, we all
trying
got to build each
bring
other up.
people together. Like, bringing people into the same, that is the hardest shit.
It's too much ego.
Bring the same people.
Well,
bring
that
enough
and we still
people
got
to the
balls
same-
and chains connected to our feet. At the same time, we're not. I mean, we have the keys to let them go.
Right.
Mentally and
Right.
physically,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Mentally and
We.
physically.
I mean, we have the keys, although we sometimes might not see or wish to pursue those keys. But
No,
you know,
'cause
it's still
the
there.
thing. That's the thing, because I mean, when I look at Spanish families and they got 15 motherfuckers in one house, they're all helping each other build up, and they're
Yeah,
going to
yeah.
get more
Oh,
houses.
100%.
Like, and it's like we don't want to do that for ourselves.
Nope.
You can't even put 15 niggas in the same neighborhood without them fighting each other.
Right.
Right. I
Right.
mean,
That's a black issue.
But
in itself,
we
like,
there was a
within our
time we did work
community.
together though. There was.
Absolutely, and I think that's what's crazy. Like if anything, we talk about like what we've pulled from our history.
It took segregation.
Say what?
It took segregation to bring black people together.
That's what makes it worse.
That's what's
because
fucked
you would
up.
think that anything that we like have pulled from our history, it wouldn't be just the disadvantages. Like if there's one thing black people learn, it's like holy shit, strength in numbers. Like
Yeah.
through every battle black people have won as a community, it's always been based off of strength in numbers. And then we've lost that. We don't
Because-
defend our brothers, like it goes back to self-hate, and then you roll
Every
into that
time.
post-traumatic slave syndrome.
every time, I mean, and you can't blame the black community for not wanting to get together, high key, because every time you get one, just not even one, or just
Half of one.
half of one, one person to just do the right fucking thing, it's like we can't even have that.
Ego.
A prime example is Nipsey Hussle. I did not listen to this man's music. I didn't really know who he was. And then I had read an article about him several months before he was killed. I was like, oh my God, my organization, what you do, I feel like I should write a letter to you. Couple months later, he's fucking killed in front of a business he built in his community.
This is why we
to
can't have
build
nice
up.
things.
Right. So it's like, when people were going online talking about, oh, black people always gotta come up with some kind of crazy ass conspiracy theory, blah blah. But it's like, what other ideology or reasoning can we come to when it's like, no, like this was actually
Every time we try to do something, something bad happens. Yeah, like Tulsa.
Wait, hold on. Whoa, where are you going with that? Because it made it sound like it's hard to believe that it's always on us.
Yeah.
So I'm confused. Were you saying it's actually hard to always believe that it's our fault, or is there a bigger picture here, or bigger agenda here?
I think it's the mental and the physical going into play on both. It's that black people can't accept responsibility a lot or take accountability for what we do to ourselves in our own community.
Oh, 100%. So that's why they make the theories.
But also, we have to look at the history and the trends and the cycles that have transpired over time that have only given you the conclusion of niggas didn't do that shit.
Let me ask you a question. If we, let's say we took away all that history. Like, let's say somehow, like, America forgot about slavery. Do you think black people would still be in the same... Do you think black people would still be in the same boat? Because, I mean, I'm going to be honest with you.
So if we take away the history, that means we take away the dark skin versus light skin. We take away...
Yes.
We take away all of that.
I 100% believe that we would still be... I think we would be equal levels with white people, and we would be in the same space. Because if you think about white people and how they look at each other, and they've all been granted success in America, but you still have the country bumpkins and the rich white class. So yes, I think we would still be in the same place. I just think we would be at equal. I don't think it would be black people compared.
So why don't the Asians have this problem?
What do you mean? Why don't the Asians have this problem?
They did.
Did they?
There's
They
rich
did.
Asians and poor
They did.
Asians.
It was the internment kits that they had.
In America? I'm talking
Yeah.
within America.
Yeah, they
We
had,
did that.
We had internment camps for the Asians. Like like it was. I was watching this show, and it was talking about the history of Asians in America. And it's like originally back in the day, they didn't want them Asians here.
No.
They didn't want them here at all. They wanted them to go, and they were trying to kick them out. They were putting them in these camps, like what they're doing to the Mexicans now. And it's just like all of a sudden there was some type of switch where they started the Asian smart thing happened. But that's a form of racism too. Like you can't say that all racism are smart. Like it's the propaganda that they put, and then they started making it all things because they wanted things from those countries. Like, you know what? China's one of our biggest trades. We need things from them. So now we got to be nice to them.
Right, I'm legit asking
America
questions because I wanted answers. That's all it was.
Does America need anything from Africa?
No, it was a question because I wanted answers.
I was actually more so leaning towards that. I almost feel like part of the reason why we have this syndrome is because people still lean back on slavery happened, so this.
Right.
Well, that's because
they bring
the
it
part
up.
of the word
Is
is
it wrong though?
What do you mean?
Like not. You're basically saying people use slavery as an excuse.
Yes.
Is it always wrong?
Is it always wrong? No, but I mean, how many situations are we talking about where it's actually like
Applicable.
A lot.
100%.
I mean,
But I do
think
feel
that
like-
if we're looking
Because
at-
I can
Not all, but a lot.
But I can tell you that my literally within one generation, like my dad was lower class and managed to go to middle class. That's one generation that he was able to
Right.
make that happen. So I don't really believe that slavery is literally keeping everybody back if one generation is all it takes to move up one class.
correct. And not all black people came here from slavery either. So we had black people here before slavery.
That is agreed
100%.
now, but there's still a basis. Your dad came in as lower class.
Right.
And he may have made himself the middle class, but like somebody else's age that is white was already middle class when they were his age, when he was low class.
Oh, 100%.
So that's why you can play that. Like sometimes it is a factor and sometimes it's not, because we are at a day and age where it's easier to overcome, but not like it's not natural.
So not the way you're, because I mean when you're talking about like upper class, that percentage isn't as big as y'all making it out.
Oh
to
no,
be.
not upper
You know
class,
what I mean?
middle class.
Well, that's why they call
I'm
it the
talking middle
1%.
class.
But if the white person started off in middle class and they're still in the middle class, they haven't made any progress.
Yeah.
Which means the black people can
We're
effectively catch
chasing
up to
other
them.
people. Yes, that's what I'm saying.
But it
I
only takes
think-
one generation. How many generations have passed since
now
we were slaves?
you can't say that years ago. You
Okay,
can't say
fair
that 2
enough.
decades. You can't say
Right,
that 2
our
decades ago that you can
Fair
make
enough.
it up to middle class in one generation. Now,
Our
money's
generation would be technically like the first generation. Like, I'm a first generation American, so this is like all new. I'm fresh on the fucking landmass. Like, so my experience is a little different. But if we're talking about a person whose family, great grandparents were sharecroppers, grandparents grew up in sharecropping, and then it progressed to you living in a low income situation, your parents lived in where your environment, like you was saying earlier, like your environment will determine what kind of, like, who's getting killed in what crime. So I think that a lot of times the environment that people are raised in keeps them there, and that's how the cycle happens. But fortunately, you get those few that get to find their way to bust their ass super hard to get to one little step ahead and break a whole 6, 7, 8 generations of people who've never been to college before out of that cycle. This is new.
that's a new day and age that we're in.
We are the firsts for so many people and like for so many generations that have seen so much fucked up shit for like ever. Like, we have to acknowledge that, I think, as millennials. It's like, okay, shit's still fucked up. Niggas still getting their ass beat by police,
Yo,
But there's still millennials that lean back on slavery, though.
Because my thing is,
Time the fuck out. One of you is breathing in your mic heavy as fuck. All I hear is growling in my goddamn ear. But go ahead.
no, but I mean, I've always felt like I've had every opportunity I could ever ask for. Like, I mean, I can't say nothing. I've never been hurt by nobody. Like, I had every opportunity to go to college. I had every opportunity to do whatever I wanted to make with myself. And I just feel like everybody should take responsibility and ownership for yourself now. Because, I mean, I'm not saying we ain't come from something and we don't have history and things like that. But you can do anything you put your mind to.
Was that opportunity based off your parents? Like, did your parents happen to open the floodgates to that opportunity to go to school and have any job that you want and anything like that? Was that based off your parents?
No, I mean, literally, like, I can apply for scholarships. I can apply to go get all this stuff myself. And it's like, it depends on how hard you want to work.
Now, would you say it was as easy for our parents or our grandparents?
Not at all.
That's what I'm saying.
But I'm saying that we don't need to act like
our millennials.
That also comes from
Well,
where
yeah.
you grew
So,
up,
like,
though.
that's where
Not
we
everybody knows that they even have those options.
Right.
And
But I mean, who doesn't have a phone?
There's some people that don't. There are poor people who don't
But the
have access to the
library-
I have
internet.
a public
There's people with
library I can walk
phones-
to.
There's people with phones who don't have that information
Not all neighborhoods
because
have a
they
library.
don't know to know that
Because
information.
Twitter has 9 a.m. boobs.
Yes.
Wait, what?
Like, that's
There's
why.
9 a.m. porn on Twitter. The people are. Yes. I like where you went with that.
I think, I feel what you're saying, but
No, because I mean, I feel like our parents had it harder, so we don't get to really complain about it as bad because it was a lot harder for them and our
But yeah, it
grandparents.
still
It
happens
was a lot
as
harder.
millennials.
Right.
We still lean back on, well, I mean, we were slaves. Like, our ancestors were slaves, so it's still a... You know what I'm saying? Like,
sometimes it's applicable and sometimes it's not because, like,
Depends on
we are
what we're talking
behind the white kids that we went to school, like, advantage-wise. But, like, it's easier for us to make a name for ourselves and us to progress in life than it was for our parents. So we have to distinguish between the fact that it's harder for our parents, but, like, it's not as hard. I mean, it's easier for us compared to our parents.
But
But
I
yeah,
would-
it's still harder
what-
for us
I
compared
thought
to
we
think
kinda
should
just
stop
came to
blaming-
consensus.
I think we should stop blaming slavery and start leaning more towards accountability of self, but also acknowledging like systemic racism was the real problem, not like for the newer generations from like the 70s and up is systemic racism. Like that really is not. That's not necessarily
Built into the laws
It's
and-
corporate. It's corporate. It's it's things that prevented you from doing what you needed to do.
Can we make sure we don't act like civil rights wasn't just a thing 30, 40 years ago?
Yeah, like,
this
60s.
is
So,
still
like,
kind of fresh. Like this is still very
It's
affecting the
less than
black
50 years.
community.
I hear you, but
I
it's
mean-
like, we're on to a new generation, though.
We get that,
Right.
And
but
we
let's
like-
not act like it didn't.
But
just
we
happen
also all
almost
just
yesterday.
agreed that our parents' generation was the one who broke through that barrier. So
first-
let's also not act like we're still on the other side of it.
Agreed.
Right.
Agreed.
Because we're
But-
not even our parents. It'd be one thing if our parents were sitting here saying this.
But that's
like, I had to
where
work this
that's
hard.
where the generations work, where like you only allow what your parents passed down to, whether it be physically, mentally, emotionally, or whatever you have you be it. we're still taking in what was passed down. So if our parents went through slavery, our grandparents went through slavery, whatever you have, there are baby boomers that were in our generation.
Millennials aren't the most current generation.
Well, yeah, but
the newest generation is still doing it.
What letter are we on, by the way?
we are.
Z.
No, after.
We are.
After millennials.
Z is our younger siblings.
So
21
what the
and
fuck
under
comes
is
after that?
Z.
Gen.
Who the fuck cares?
They're not
We don't
born
even
yet.
like we don't even like
Y.
the Z's.
The letter is Y.
But I'm just saying, like,
We're Y. Millennials are Y. That's why our parents are X generation. We're
X,
Y
Y, and
slash
then Z
millennial.
after us.
We're just millennials because the millennia,
Gotcha.
2000.
Got you. It's all clear now.
but my point is, our parents are the one who broke
Wait a
through that
minute,
barrier.
you gave me a book that said Generation IY.
Yikes.
A B C D F G.
All right, go ahead.
Case closed.
So like our parents burst through that barrier, right? Let's say they moved past that. So now we have us. We're a
Civil
generation.
rights is the era that
Yeah,
you're
yeah,
talking
yeah.
about.
I mean, yeah. So parents, us. Now we're on to another generation. It's still occurring. So I can't really say it's because
I don't
these
think that
people from generations back had the leg up on us to begin with, because those people have the leg up on everybody. You know what I'm saying? Like you still have like your Disneys. Like that's somebody that's old filthy plantation money right there, bro. That's all that is, literally. Like, but those people, like they're not as many as those people as you would think.
Just
Yeah,
died.
no, I
What
agree.
was his name?
You said the 1%.
He just fucking croaked. The one.
The comedian?
No, the old white man with all the money.
R.I.P.
Oh, you're talking about in the over there in Europe. What's his name, brothers?
Why y'all trying to remember these white people that like y'all care?
No, but it's
That part.
important. Was it Ross? One of the Rothschilds or something?
Oh, the Rothschilds, yeah, because they run the world.
You know they were harvesting black organs to keep it alive for so long. That's another story for another subject.
Black theories. Didn't we just talk about that? Like, when are we gonna take accountability?
Get out. But I mean,
So we're not going to address that black market organs from black people.
No, we're
aren't
absolutely
happening?
not.
black people
We're
do
absolutely
not
not.
become organ donors.
But
Do
Facts.
not do it.
Facts.
Facts.
Wait, what's my driver license say?
I do
Fix
understand what you're saying. Like we have to, as the I guess newest, oldest generation. Like we do have to take responsibility.
We got to be the responsible ones on there. Yeah.
Because like
It's
we
our
need
turn.
to start going to therapy. Like people need to start going to therapy.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like,
Like-
people need to stop making people feel bad for like going to therapy and like
Right.
having mental issues and different things and talking about it.
Now,
Yeah.
maybe that post-traumatic slave syndrome has caused a mental issue, but is that something we're really addressing in the black community today?
Absolutely not.
passing
I asked
down.
that question at a hereditary symposium. I go to symposiums and shit. Don't worry about it. So
That's none of your business.
Levels.
no, the shit. That's you know
climbing.
what's crazy? People think that only rich people go to that shit. Nah, that shit was for free. It was at the National Museum of.
Shout out to the Montclair Library.
Yeah, it was at one of the Smithsonian museums, and honestly, like, it's open to the public. It's free. Anybody can go. And
So what
can
you
sit
asked
and
them?
get the-
Oh, you mean like all the mental health and financial management classes and study space
Yeah,
Montclair
you
Library
can go
have?
to all those things.
Oh, stop.
It's a plug, though. It's a plug. But
Yikes.
one of the things that they brought up was that things get passed down through our genes and our genomes. And
Trauma's one of those things.
Trauma is one of those things that was not brought up. So in this room full of Caucasian individuals, as you see, the
White people.
Afrocentric.
We stopped Caucasian in episode 8.
Oh shit.
Mayonnaise
Yeah.
sapiens.
Okay.
That is a word we're not going to use.
Oh
We're
my
definitely
God.
not calling them.
That was offensive.
But-
Yeah, we are definitely not calling them that. Don't you
Capital
ever say
A.
that.
Wait, what is it?
Podcast.
Mayonnaise sapiens.
Mayonnaise.
He said it again. He fucking said it again.
It's not bad.
Why is it? on the-
It is. It's not bad.
But one of the questions I asked, I was like, do you believe?
Thank
that-
you, everybody, for joining us on another episode of the Woes Podcast. We have just
Brought to you by Mayonnaise Sapiens.
Yikes. I'm actually trying to hear about the symposium, so
Me too, but I'm not trying to get canceled in the process.
So one of the things I asked was, is it to your belief or to your understanding that post-traumatic stress disorder, anxiety, and depression are all connected with historical alterations to entire cultures, such as genocide, slavery, and what we know as modernized colonization?
I
Do
would
you
disagree.
believe that those things have somehow now trickled down so far into the genetic makeup of
That's
people
the definition of
today.
post-traumatic slave syndrome.
For that, yes.
Literally definition.
Depression, anxiety, I will not agree. And the only reason why is because you have some black people that go through depression. You have some black people that don't.
Correct.
Everybody may say that, like,
But I think
Also, that's
this-
not how genes work.
But I mean, I feel like we kind of do that to ourselves too, because it's always like, oh no, you better be a hard nigga. You're supposed to
Your
you're
mental
supposed
health
to
can
be
physically
a
alter
certain
your
way.
genes.
It's
When you
not.
pass down
It's
those
not
genes.
okay for
100%.
you to say
time
you
out,
need help.
Time out. We're not having two conversations at once.
My bad.
Go ahead, Luis.
No, but I mean, it's just not okay for you to say you need help in the black community. Like,
Yeah.
if you come out and say something like that, like, it's just like
You're shunned
all of a
upon.
sudden you're shunned, and like there's something wrong with you, or ooh, I don't fuck with that nigga.
Wait.
Like,
Kanye been asking for help since album 1. All right, and we've been giving him shit since album 3.
That nigga crazy.
I blame Kim Kardashian.
Giving him shit till like album 4. Everybody kind of turned faces when 808.
Hey, that's what I'm saying. Album 3, yeah.
After album
Oh, that's
three.
4. That's 4.
Yeah, it's 4.
I blame Kim
Congratulations,
Kardashian.
You're right.
All right.
They got a black man
You
curse.
said
They
what?
do.
They got a black man
They
curse.
got
What?
a man curse in that.
I thought you said something. I thought you said you blamed the Kardashians.
Nah.
Wait, that was you who said that?
Yeah, Kanye was cool before.
You're crazy. I blame Amber Rose.
You said what was cool before?
I said Kanye used to be cool, and then all of a sudden Kim Kardashian happened.
He broke up with Amber Rose and then 808's.
But his mom died. That was the bigger factor.
Right.
Oh well, I guess yeah.
It was a combination.
And that's the thing. He probably never really talked to anybody about that, because I mean, that's
So when you're
traumatic
going
to go
through something traumatic, and then the one that you love that's supposed to be there for you
Is not
isn't, that creates a lot of big.
Shout out to my exes.
That changed his genes halfway through his life.
Right.
It'd be like
No,
that.
no. I get where you're going with that.
You
no,
see what I'm saying?
I don't think that's the argument that she's making, though. It's like,
Well, I
are
mean,
we past the gene thing?
Yeah, I mean,
The
I think
post-traumatic slave syndrome, I can understand how that's like. I don't even think it's.
see, that's what I'm
genealogy.
saying. Like
I think
that's,
it's ideology. Like I don't think it's based off your genes. I just think it's based off your mentality.
but
depression,
ideology is
anxiety-
taught. It's not passed down.
Well, think
They
about
say
how
the
black people
trauma
view
is
ass
passed
whoopings.
down.
That's
Where we
why-
get that from?
Say what?
How black people, how we pass down ass whoopings.
That's taught.
Taught.
Right.
That's what I'm saying.
Through what
So-
though? Through slavery.
right, but that's
But
a
it's
learned
not a
behavior.
gene.
That's not
It's
on your genes, bro.
genealogy.
Like
No, it's not. No, that's
That's a
a
learned behavior.
Right. It is.
That's
It's a learned
what he was
behavior.
arguing. It's like, is it genealogy or is it ideology?
Yeah, because to say like trauma is passed down through your genes,
I
like
think the
that's not how
effects-
genes work. That means that there would have to be trauma would have to be there already. You get what I'm saying? Like it would have to be a recessive gene, which means we already had it in order for it to
I
get
think-
passed down.
It's weird. It's like you know
I
how a
think-
cell works. Shout out to episode 1.
I think that trauma does affect.
Mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell.
I think trauma does affect a person physically.
Right.
Like, I suffer from PTSD. Like, that's a very real thing.
Right.
I suffer from anxiety. I suffer from depression. Like, those things were not.
Everybody suffers from depression.
I think
Not me.
everybody's got a little bit of depression.
Now-
Anybody can become depressed,
Here's
but
a-
when you're cyclically not
Hold
able
on.
to physically function,
Hold on.
that's
Clinically.
Here's a hold on. Here's a table splitter right here. Because we all acknowledge that like mental health is a really big issue in the black community.
Yes, it
it's
is.
something that should be addressed, right?
Yes.
Now, how many people here, to include our peanut gallery, have felt like they have suffered from depression one time in their life?
Currently.
Oh, you guys are just fucking perfect.
Yeah.
Doesn't make it perfect.
You never.
I've had
felt
other
like-
issues.
Anxiety?
No, I don't subscribe
Let's
to that.
define anxiety.
No, let's not.
But we're supposed to be talking about
that's a very good question.
about mental health in the black community.
But
So
I'm
yeah, let's.
asking a question right now. So let me finish that out, and then we can address specifics. Now, you guys have felt like you've suffered from depression in your life. How many people have actually gone to a hospital and been clinically diagnosed by a doctor with depression?
Nope.
And I will openly say that.
So-
but then we make this argument. Hold on. We'll make this argument about how mental health is such an issue and how we should get better about addressing it, and none of us are really addressing it.
We shouldn't have to go pay somebody for us to express ourselves.
Wait, that's what a doctor is, you idiot.
No. But wait.
That's what a doctor is.
That's my
Like,
point.
It's called I thought you don't need
So
a
doctors
doctor
don't
to undepress
misdiagnose
yourself.
It's
thousands of kids with ADHD.
You're doing that police shit that you were doing about the police brutality, about how all cops are bad, or like
Did I say all doctors? I didn't say
doctors
all.
are not relevant.
I didn't
No.
use the word all.
Yes.
Hold on.
Sometimes you need a doctor because that's how you usually get help. Sometimes a doctor can tell you, "Oh, you're just going through a heartbreak," as opposed to what real depression is.
But hear me
There's
out.
a scientific backing to what depression is.
I'll go
If
to a
you go to
psychologist.
the doctor and
You have to be referred to by a doctor to go to a psychologist. You don't just walk into a psychologist's office and say, "Hey, I have depression." That's not how it works.
Why not?
He'll send you
Why
back
not?
to your doctor. That's not how that works. I'm telling you, that's not how it works. You have to go to a doctor. If you go
That's
to a
bullshit.
psychologist,
because
if
psychologists
be that way.
you go to a
It's specialist.
psychologist
Right.
and say, "Hey, I have depression,"
Right.
he will send you back to your fucking doctor and then let your doctor determine whether you need. That's like saying, "Hey, my finger's broke," to a hand specialist. And he's saying, "Did you see your doctor?" And you're saying, "No, I came straight to you." And he's like, "Go fucking see your doctor." That's how that works. That's how specialty jobs in the doctor field work.
That's a shame. But
But
okay.
I mean,
understand what you're
when as a child, I had some kind of traumatic happen to me, and I remember we went to the church, and the guy was trained as a psychologist and everything, and I mean, he diagnosed me right there himself. Like, I mean, I don't know. I feel like you just go in and you talk to somebody, and they can read that. That's what their
But
job
like,
is.
clinically diagnosed is not just somebody saying you
Can
have
I hop
this.
in about this? Like, that's their job thing? Because, like, I think we're missing that point. That's their job. Like, how ridiculous does this sound? I go to the doctor. I'm like, "Yo, I've been coughing. I think I'm sick." He's like, "Nah, nigga, you
bro,
good.
you good.
Go ahead, get on out of here." If you go to the doctor, you tell them, like, something is wrong. They can't just be like, "No, it's not. See you later.
If you don't go
Thank you for your money."
The argument is not going to the doctor and the doctor saying you're not suffering from depression. The argument was going to the doctor.
It's have you going to the doctor.
Yes.
But I know you went to the doctor, right? And you got diagnosed, right? I'm pretty sure if I go to the doctor and I say, "Hey, I'm depressed," I'm probably going to walk away diagnosed.
maybe
Do
not
not see a
saying that-
trend. That's what I'm saying.
maybe
If
not
I go to the
telling-
doctor, I say I'm sick. He's going to give me medicine for being sick. If I go to the doctor and I say my throat's hurting, he's going to give me medicine for a sore throat.
So I can say whatever.
Me just going in there and just telling him something's wrong, he's going to prescribe to me what's to fix that, because that's part of his job. There's money being made in the clinical industry.
But now all you're throwing out is a reason to not go to the doctor.
100%, yes. No, that's the reason why. But I think that's the reason why in the black community, because I feel like I'm not the only one who feels that way.
No.
Like,
you make a good point.
But then how do we tell people in the black community to address mental health if we're telling them, like, but be careful if you go to the doctors, it might be a
No,
sign.
it's
I
just
think
be
the
there for one
first-
another. Real talk.
I
Brad.
think the first step is
It's
honestly
ideology. It's
addressing,
ideal.
like, even if you can't put a name to it, even if you can't say depression, anxiety, PTSD, if you can't put a name to it, like, if you're waking up and you're like, I've been waking up feeling like shit for 5 days straight, if you can't think why, like that, if you can't take a second and try to figure out why, or think about why you should go get help for that, that's the problem. That's
But-
the first problem is acknowledging you have a problem. Like, number one, before the 12-step program.
But I mean, even with that, like, once you've acknowledged it, I mean, where we've been as a people, like, maybe I don't have the money. Maybe I don't have a way to afford.
I know I couldn't
There are a lot
afford
of
going to a
people
doctor
and-
to get a
to get help. Like,
psychologist.
maybe I can't afford it. I don't
Because
have
there's
health
money
insurance.
to be made in the clinical industry.
Yeah.
Nobody finds
Ding,
that weird.
ding.
Right. Hold on. Before we get into like the financial struggles or burdens of being in mental health,
There
I
are
want to go
free
back to what
clinic
Julian said
options.
about that's where we have to be here for another, and you can't always use that as an excuse. You can't always say that, like, oh, you have to depend on your family and friends, because personal experience.
It's not that
Yo,
you
hold
have.
on.
It's not that
No.
you have to. That's what I'm saying. You have to. You
an
should be
option.
able to.
But
We should be at a place where we can do
But
that.
yes and no. I'll give you a yes and no to that, and that's because yes, we should be able to, but you have to realize that I'm different from him. I'm different from him. I'm different from her. You and him.
And I got my
And-
own whole fucking life, like,
So-
with its own shit.
But
there's
not even
also-
just that. Not even just that. Like, say if you had nothing else going for you.
Yeah.
You can't cope with shit the way I cope with it. So
Correct.
when you come into that situation and you deal with your mental health, now you're talking to me the way you deal with your mental health. I don't deal with my mental health the same way you do. So how are you going to coach
think there
me
should
through?
be a process
Hold on,
with that.
Hold on, let me finish. Now you have yes, it's cool to depend on your family if they can be a viable source. But then say I don't go to you and I go to a doctor instead, they're well versed in that. They have schooling to back up
And
the
yet,
fact that they
that
know how to deal with
information is
a
always being
multitude.
updated.
But some
Always
doctors
learning new
just
stuff
write
about it.
prescriptions to shut you the fuck up.
Okay, bad cop, all cops.
No.
It's the argument we keep coming
I'm
back
not
to.
saying
There
bad cop,
are-
all cop. I'm saying that there's always updates being made on this. So even they don't know. They're using every single patient who comes in as an experiment.
Okay, but
Which
our
means-
family and friends can't do the same. And that's why a doctor is a more reliable source.
Wait, why?
It's a process of elimination.
I feel like you
It's a
should go to
process.
your family and
But,
your
I
friends
mean,
first.
not even.
That doesn't work.
Hold
Okay,
on,
let me go
hold
see
on,
professional
because-
help.
Because
Or
for
yourself
a
first.
lot of people, family might be the
problem.
Friend
well,
might
then, yeah,
be
obviously,
the
you know,
source
goes.
of the toxicity.
You
So
might be
if-
the first person to approach your family about depression. Now they got to figure out how to deal with it with you. But like you said, doctors are figuring it out every day because they're dealing with a multiple team. Holy shit, it's like they have experience.
Process
But I mean,
of
but that's what I'm
elimination.
saying. But
Start
they're
with
not, though.
self,
I mean-
then you go to outside sources. Yourself, friends, family, doctor.
Wait,
But we do have
even being
this
a doctor
thing-
is still a science. And that's all about like proving something until somebody else
Process
can
of
disprove
elimination.
it. It's not like they know everything there is to know. Because if that's the case, why is you can go in there and you can say one symptom and that might be 100 different things.
Let me ask
they can't
you-
just look at you and be like,
Let me ask you this.
that's what it is.
But-
Let me ask
I
you
mean,
this. So I know
because
we stand
it's
on
not
target.
exact
Are you
science.
saying that your parents are as equally a viable source as doctors?
I mean, I'm saying both of them gonna be guessing what is wrong.
I'm saying.
I feel like they have the potential to be.
If it's something they've been through.
And I mean, you got to look at like social
As
media
a
and everything
former
too. Because
medical
I can
professional-
sometimes.
As a former medical professional, I am telling you, I understand both sides. I have worked in the field.
I don't
and I've
understand
went
these niggas' side.
outside of the field, and I've been on the outside of the field where I've been looked at as a patient and been treated a specific way because of whatever reason. But I've had to educate myself on how to deal with things as a patient. But the reality is, if I go into a hospital with a severe injury or if something is going on with me internally, externally, I'm going to trust
But that's
the
different.
people who have the training.
Injury,
That's a
yeah,
physical
that's
injury.
physical
That's
element,
something
yeah.
like we
No,
know
she
how
said
your
physically
bones-
or mentally.
No,
She's,
I
or
said,
inside
I said
and out.
internal or external.
She's talking about an injury though. An injury is different from up here.
Okay,
'Cause we
but-
still
but
don't know
there
how
is
all
a-
the mind
there is a
works.
me-
You get
there
what I'm saying?
are mental injuries that we have been sustaining as a mass of people. Just if we're talking about black, like if you went outside right now and picked up any black person off the street, and we sat down here and had 5 specific topics associated with depression, anxiety, post-traumatic slave syndrome, police, any of the topics we talked about, they would have some feelings about it, and they would be able to connect and understand, like, no, I have these
strongly
feelings,
disagree with that because I can guarantee you I can walk out into these streets in Woodbridge right here and pick up 5 black people and probably most of them won't even know what half of those words even mean. I'm willing to bet like majority out of 5 wouldn't know what those words are.
Let me
and
ask you
maybe
one
that's
question.
where what we need to do for our community
Let me
is
ask
go
you
out
one-
and talk about it.
Let me ask you one question. Do you feel like you ever suffer from any kind of mental illness ever in your life?
Possibly.
Do
I
you
think
feel
it
like
depends on what
No,
you
man.
define as a mental illness.
I don't. All right.
Yeah.
something that affects your mind.
No,
So, like,
that you
Alzheimer's?
feel like
Shit,
you
sugar
have to
affects your
go
mind. So, like,
to the
Alzheimer's?
hospital for.
So like Alzheimer's? Yes, that's a possibility.
Well, people
I
can
feel
go to the
like-
hospital for
no,
anxiety
no.
attacks.
I feel like
Say what?
mental
People can go to the
health
hospital for an
issues
anxiety
should
attack.
be tied to your ability to
Okay.
function.
So,
Is an anxiety attack
no, and I mean, I
isolated
feel like
incident?
I feel like we
Yes.
should be able to talk to our families and different things like
Isolated
that. And the problem is
Yes.
we're too busy in these phones. We're too busy finding out things on ourselves and stuff like that. Nobody.
Sometimes.
When I work in restaurants and when I sit down and there's a family of 4 and everybody's on their fucking phone, like you're not talking to each other because I mean you need to learn from your family. Your mom or your dad's probably been through something that could tell you, but you don't know because you don't want to talk to them. Y'all don't want to eat together. We don't eat at the table no more. We all eat in our
Sometimes
rooms.
the conversation isn't enough. So you can talk to I talk to my parents all the time. My parents can't help me. When I tell my parents, hey, doctor diagnosed me with depression and anxiety, they're like, you should see somebody about that. Because we can't help you with that. Because we don't go through that. And we've never dealt with that. So that's something you should speak to somebody about.
But
But
you
I
went
mean,
through
I
the
feel like-
process.
I
That's
feel
still
like-
going
You
through the
went
process.
through that process.
Some people
No,
just
no,
don't
no,
like
no,
through
no,
that
no,
I
process.
feel like as a
No, no, no,
family
no,
though,
no, no,
as a
no.
family though, all I
The
need to do
decision
is
was
be there.
already made to go find help before I talked to them.
No, I mean I
That was
understand
already
that.
happened. So
No, I
there
mean I
was no
understand that.
process. I didn't go to my parents first about saying I need to address
You went
the
to you
depression.
first.
Weird.
No, but
So
I mean,
process.
I feel
It's
like
still the process. So that's
No.
the beginning of the process.
Self,
I feel
You
like the
just
first
skip
thing though-
others. All right.
I feel like the first thing though is the fact that it's an open communication because them telling you to go get help was their way of helping you. Which I mean, they helped you try and get this mental fitness thing. All I'm saying is that everybody needs to talk to each other because I mean,
To build
where
a
your
foundation.
where your parents knew, hey, you need to go do this.
But this started because
you got that from your parents, and I mean, I just feel like we don't talk to each other enough anymore.
this started because you said you were the only one who did go get diagnosed. That's for me. Based off of what you said to me earlier, Your parents could have actually went through depression.
Right,
But
except
they
for
don't
the fact
know
that my
because they
parents
never
said
went
they-
and got diagnosed. Because they didn't go to the doctor to ask them.
No, but I asked if y'all feel like y'all have went through depression, and everybody except you two perfect beings raised their hand. But then I asked, have you gone to the clinic?
But that's what I'm saying. Like, did
And
you
she
ask?
said,
But
I
you
don't know
also
if
didn't
they
ask.
didn't raise their hand.
Okay, so you also didn't ask like each individual person what their depression was. You know
what their depression was.
Oh, like,
Like
where my depression
that's what I'm saying.
comes
Like, what do
from?
you? How do you like? How does each person? Because
Quantify their issue.
Their definition of
okay.
depression.
That
You get what I'm saying? Like,
Depression is a definition word.
no,
What do you
it's
mean?
no, no.
Yes, it is.
There's a
What is it?
There's a definition word.
I'm asking. I'm legit because I
There's a
don't know. So
connotation.
I'm asking you.
Look it up on
It
your
doesn't.
phone. I
It
know you
doesn't
have your phone
matter.
on you.
So we can use
I
your
have
phone on the
two
podcast?
phones.
Bet.
Doesn't matter. We have a denotation and a connotation for every single word. Period.
One time.
Period. Like that's a given fact. So when I hear depression, when he hears depression,
It might
it's
mean
still going to
something
be two different
different.
things.
That's why I asked, do you go? That's exactly why I asked, do you go and get clinically diagnosed with depression? Because there's a difference between a self-diagnosis and a clinical diagnosis. You can Google
the symptoms.
what depression is all damn day. But until you go into a hospital and a doctor
I'm not getting
says
signal.
you,
So would you like to answer my question?
But I could also Google.
See, black people don't want to help each other.
Hold on. I can also Google the symptoms of depression, go into a clinic, and tell the doctor all those symptoms. He doesn't even have to see any of those symptoms, and I can still get diagnosed with being depressed.
but you're talking about going there with a pre-thought plan of, hey, I'm going to go get diagnosed with depression because I know
what
the
you're
answers.
saying.
I know the
Point,
answers to
the point is,
question.
clinically, isn't
the clinic
that doesn't define whether or not you are.
You're talking about this
depressed
professional.
just because you were what's it
That
called
is his
diagnosed.
medical profession. That is
Yes,
his
but
job.
yet somebody who
Okay.
doesn't actually have depression can walk in there and describe it to him, but because he hears all these familiar symptoms, he's like, oh, that's depression. Here you go.
But you're basing it are you basing it off of somebody who will walk in and say, I have depression, but really doesn't?
Yes,
No,
the fact that that's a possibility
If
means
you're
it.
going in there and saying,
I
I have all these
understand.
descriptive answers that
Right.
describe depression,
Right.
all the definitions say I have depression, and I really don't have depression, but I'm going to go into this hospital and the doctor's going to diaggnose me with depression.
He was saying
Why are you
Exactly.
wrong
He
for
was
that?
saying-
His
But
point-
you're
his point
literally
is it's not
saying-
definite.
but
There's no way
That's
to
literally the
determine it.
entire point.
You're literally
Right.
saying I check all the boxes.
Yes.
What are the
How
boxes?
do you not have depression?
Because that's exactly how the doctor determines that you have.
It's just the fact that
He
the
checks
boxes
a
are
fucking
checked.
box.
Whether or not you
He
have,
asks you
whether or not the
questions, check the
patient
box.
mentally checked those boxes himself.
You know how back injuries work?
You get hurt on your back.
Because doctors can't always determine if you actually suffer from a back injury. There's no way they can take a meter
Hashtag
and say,
free pain
oh, look
pills."
at that, your back's fucked up. That's not a thing how back injuries work. They're very
no,
hard
no,
to
no.
determine. So you have to describe how a back injury works. Now, you're going to tell me that every time a doctor says you have a back injury, that's not always the case. You just read off of...
I mean, it depends. Do you want free pills?
Well,
Because that's how a lot of people get free pills.
I used to. Okay, so
Can we stay on topic?
Well, no, because I don't know what the topic is because you won't
I-
define depression for me.
I think a great example is. I
do
think
you know what
what,
back depression... Do you know what...
Hold on.
Still don't know
Back
because
injury
it can't
is?
work.
You know what
She's
back
talking.
Nope, my back has never heard it, so no,
Trying to say
I
is
don't.
like, he's saying like, you can't take an X-ray, you can't take an MRI and get or a blood test or any physical testing to determine if a person has depression. So
But you can't do that for a back injury.
But for a back injury, you can do a physical test.
Yes.
Where if
You're
okay,
physically feeling
yes,
pain.
I've-
That's undeniable.
yes, where if
But the
okay,
doctor
test-
can't determine that. You can walk over and says my back
I mean, you
hurts
can
here
say-
and
you
my
can
back
say-
hurts here. Just like you can say my head hurts here and I feel this way. You can
But
treat
but the
a
thing
back
is-
injury is damn near no
So-
more definitive
But you-
than a mental. No, you don't know what depression is.
That's
So
not
give me
We're
a
not talking about that.
That's not true. Unfortunately, I disagree.
What's not true?
Like if a
There
person
are
has
tests
a
you can do for a back injury, like-
Not all back injuries.
Because I suffer from a back injury.
Hashtag all back injuries matter.
To begin with.
But they knew it was your back was the problem.
Because he said the back
Right.
was his
Yeah,
problem.
but-
Just
but
like you
first-
say the depression is the problem.
But
But
then
they
you
can't
can
make a
test
determining factor as to
But
whether
you can
where
test-
in your back is the problem.
Yes, you can. You can take
Not
an X-ray.
all the time.
I
That's
don't
not all
think-
back injuries work.
I don't think it really
MRI.
matters like how they come up with the fact that you have depression. I think it's where it comes from and how they're gonna attack it. Because somebody
Right.
that's in a divorce, somebody that loses a parent, somebody has a
Right.
divorce, somebody loses a child, a miscarriage,
Right.
somebody that
Somebody's
loses
been
their job,
attacked, any-
somebody. And I mean, the fact of depression, like there's so many different types. I mean, I know there is a definition and everything like that, but what it stems from
That's
is what really
irrelevant
matters.
to what depression is, though. Where it comes from, what causes your depression is not relevant to the term of what depression. I got you, don't worry, because you're getting on my nerves. It's not relevant to what the word depression means and what is a medical diagnosis to the word depression.
Right.
Regardless of what causes your depression is still depression.
But I don't think the fact that you have depression is the problem. I think whatever's causing it is what you need to really focus on.
That's the problem, yes, and you should address that issue. But the depression is still there.
I think that's
still
the problem with
just
a lot
like
of mental
anxiety.
health issues, though.
It's
Anxiety
like, are we
is
going
an
to the
issue
root,
that-
or are we going to the title of what the root has caused?
I just feel like mental health issues in general have that stigma of somebody just checking a box.
Well, it's a trend now.
To get to what your mental health issue is. You know what I mean? Like somebody, you come in and you're like, okay, so what's
You're not
going
allowed to
on?
define a word with the word. What?
So you walk into the doctor and you're like,
A
you know,
mental
hey, what's
disorder
going on?
categorized as persistently
Blah, blah,
depressed.
blah.
You're using
What
depressed
about
to define
what
depression.
about like drug involvement? Like, because I mean, a lot of like I know a lot of people that do cocaine, they do heroin, they smoke weed. Like that adds into your depression too. And I mean, at some point that you're so far gone, like what? How can I help you?
It's a very vague definition, by the way.
But like, what about those types of people? Because I mean, if I got this cousin that's like on drugs and shit like that, like how am I supposed to help him?
Right.
So I feel like I don't know. I guess it depends on which drug it is. I feel like certain drugs, I can't.
You
really
are
apply
the
that to.
bane of my existence. Absolutely 100%. You are the bane of my existence. I love you to death, though, but you are the bane of my existence. I gave you the definition. That's what you asked for because you didn't have a signal.
All right. Yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you.
Wait,
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
what's Bing?
Bane.
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 Bang, bang.
Shut up.
Bang, 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 bang.
But yeah, I mean, it's just like it gets even deeper than that. Because I mean, like I remember when I was living in San Diego, like I would watch some man pushing his cart down the street, and what's it called? He's walking around in a gold thong, and everybody's just walking by like it's not happening. And it's like nobody's talking about these homeless people or like people that are going through real serious problems that are getting crazy. And it's like all we do is lock them up, put them in jail, and then bring them out. We lock them up, put them in jail for a minute, and then all we do is just put them right back on the street. We don't give them any help. We don't do anything for them
Because it costs money.
Money.
That's what, if
Money,
doctors
money,
work,
money,
if
money,
doctors
money.
work
Y'all
for
should see
free,
that. Y'all should see
guarantee
that.
A lot more people will be a lot more trusting about going and talking about like mental
Y'all should see
health
that
issues and stuff like that.
Netflix
for-
documentary.
Which leads back to saying, why should I have to pay somebody for me to be better?
Exactly.
So stop beating people's ass. Stop misdiagnosing.
Well, that's because when we try to give people free
we
shit,
are solving world fucking.
Well, I say
problems.
make sure that we vote.
Wait. Hold on.
2020, make sure you vote for that Medicare for
stop,
all.
Stop.
Medicare for all.
That's not the goal here, okay? Our sins and woes, not our wins and goals, okay? We aren't trying to solve the world of problems. We're just trying to bring up problems, all right?
Listen.
So that they can
With
solve
that
them for
being said,
themselves.
like all these loud niggers in this room.
Do you think if we did get Medicare for all, that like mental illnesses or doctors, psychiatrists, and stuff should be applied with it?
I think
Nah.
To where we go for free if you want to go. I mean, if they're paying for our regular medical, like our bodies, like why not pay for like psychs and?
mental health
But that just
is
adds to the
beyond it.
cycle.
But I mean, then it's free.
Yeah, but the medicine won't be, because that's where they get you.
No, but it's not.
No,
just
but
medicine
everything's free.
Big pharma.
is
Right.
health.
We'll never allow that to happen.
If you get medical,
Some people really just need somebody to go and talk to.
That's
So
true.
it just really need an ear.
I guess
Some
what
people
I
just
thought
need to
my-
bust a
I
nut.
shouldn't
I
have
guess what
to
I
pay
thought
you
my,
for you to listen.
I guess what
If you're someone that's a part of my community.
No, but I guess what I thought when I hear medical for all, and maybe I need to look more into it, is that like my medicines, like when I need to see the doctor, everything is included. Like I mean, I'm paying more taxes,
Yeah.
but everything's included. So I mean, that should just be free. Should be.
We paying for it anyway.
Okay. Topic change. Because I feel like this mental health thing is going to go through the
It's
fucking...
We about to have a part 2 to this shit.
Yo,
Like shit.
hell no. See you at episode 20, motherfuckers. All right, so let's talk black. Well,
I'm black, y'all, and I'm black, y'all, and I be black.
I said black wealth, not black
Nigga, nigga, nigga,
Let's
nigga,
talk
nigga, nigga,
black
nigga.
wealth and keeping it in the community.
100% nigga.
Keeping it in. The
You 100% broke.
Bet money? I couldn't do that if I was broke.
All right. Facts.
Facts.
And I fell asleep, and I had a dream.
I think one of the things that's gonna keep the wealth in the community is stop claiming brokenness like all the time. Like stop speaking it into your real life.
Mm-hmm.
What about filing
Did you
for
read
bankruptcy?
The Secret? Because that's what it sounds like you're reciting right now.
Huh?
The Secret.
The Secret.
You never read
It's
The
a book.
Secret? It's the bane of
What
my
are
existence.
books? No, I'm
Seconds
just kidding.
ago.
What are those?
High key, someone told me I couldn't read. I was like, the fuck?
Niggas don't
Okay.
read.
But okay,
Can you? That's a pretty valid question.
Well,
Not everybody
valid
can.
question.
I know some niggas that can't read for
I
shit.
know, but
The fox on the moon.
it was but yeah, no, I feel like just reading is fucking fundamental. That's number one.
Off topic. Back to wealth.
No, that's part
Financial
of wealth.
literacy.
well,
That's fucking wealth right there. Like keeping the wealth is
I'm not
going-
mad at you right now.
Like,
Absolutely not mad.
like yeah, no, like getting informed, like finding out what's going on in your community, what is within your reach to build on, and like ultimately keeping yourself and the people around you aware of how finance works. Like,
That's the problem. When niggas see new things and good things that are good for us, we like to keep it for ourselves. Like, I ain't telling nobody about this shit. This is my little shit right here. That's the problem.
But we also don't know where to find a lot of that good shit. Like, I brought it up earlier, and I didn't bring it up just to be plugging the library. Like, they do have a financial management class that comes
there are
every
libraries everywhere.
2 weeks. And there's libraries everywhere. Holy fucking shit. Every time I book the room.
So there's a
But,
financial what?
The internet is also
financial
free.
management class that they do every 2 weeks here at the fucking library. Free of charge. All you gotta do is show up. But, like,
But nobody knows about it.
have you ever Googled financial management classes for free?
No.
Oh, you can
Okay,
find
then.
anything
So,
if you're
like,
looking for it.
Exactly.
Right.
All you have to do is
Yeah,
look
but
for it.
a lot of people.
But you have to know to look.
A lot of people of today don't think to look for it.
Yeah,
They
you
just
have
think
to know.
fuck. They think fuck. I'm fucked up. I gotta fix this.
But yet we
That's your
type
first
in
instinct.
hashtags
Yes.
for funny shit.
Yeah. Hashtag
Because
I'm
we
broke as
know
fuck.
what
I
we-
gotta fix this.
We,
So-
to
so-
look for
Welcome to
shit we're looking
millennials.
for.
Welcome to millennials.
So why should our immediate response be, I'm gonna just talk about how like shitty my situation is, rather than let me try to figure out ways to fix it?
Hey, what's the podcast name, Julian?
Because niggas like complaining.
Our sins and woe.
Right.
but I mean,
Because niggas like complaining.
Niggas
I
like
know.
complaining.
I know when I read the topic when you were sending them all over, I was thinking about like how in black businesses, like if we should be spending money in our own black businesses and things like that. But
Really?
I also thought on the double-edged sword, why is it every time you go into a black business, sometimes the shit just
motherfucking
ratchet.
customer service.
It ain't.
sorry.
It's just a mess. It's
Wait a
not.
minute, wait a minute.
It's ratchet.
Here's Here's a big thing, and it sounds Uncle Tomish every time I say it, and I really hate saying it, but the truth is the truth. And I said this with episode 8 with Malcolm. I'm all for supporting the black cause. I'm all for supporting the black businesses and stuff like that. But like, at the end of the day, I gotta watch my pockets.
Right.
I gotta provide for my household. So I can't go out and buy your $10 deodorant if Walmart's got deodorant for the same size for $2. I can't do that.
Right.
That's not
Well,
true.
see, here's the thing. With black businesses, they charge so much because they don't have the power to mass produce. Therefore, it's okay for it to
I
be
know
cheaper.
why. I know why
But-
they do that.
but
I know
A lot of
why
people don't.
That still doesn't change the
But
fact
it
that
still doesn't change
that's
the fact
2 and
that
that's
it's
10.
too inexpensive.
Right.
It's too expensive. So I can't build you up breaking myself down.
Mm-hmm.
I'm all about like, if there's one thing I've learned doing this podcast, it's that sometimes simple shit works. If you have a black business, I can get on social media and say, hey, go buy this store. And granted, I ain't buying shit from that store because Walmart's cheaper. But I can say, hey, go buy that store. And sometimes that's enough of contributing to the black community.
Here's
But
my thing.
I
But
can't
I
break
feel
my
like when
bank.
you want to go, if you're willing to spend money anywhere, money's gonna come out of your pocket one way or another.
But what if you're not willing to spend money anywhere?
That's what I'm saying. The black community.
So
which we're
if
talking
you
about,
have the ability to spend that money,
Then you
when
should.
you do, yes. So my practice is when it comes to clothing and accessories, at first I look for things that are black owned. That's my first goal. If I don't see it, then that's when I'll search for somewhere else. But I can afford to do that. I know a lot of people can't. But that doesn't mean that you can't shout out maybe to my business, maybe, promote, and there's still something you can do to help the
Broken
business.
his fucking
So what you're
ego.
telling me is that you would buy a shirt that might be of lesser quality and more expensive than another shirt just because a black person owned it.
You should see my closet.
I mean, that
He's
just
asking-
sounds.
but he asked your
That just
question.
asked you a question. That
But
doesn't really
that's-
answer.
So here's the
That's the
thing.
root of
The
the
quality
problem.
of the shirts that I personally have are great. They're actually
But that's not his question.
And they're black
Would
owned.
you buy a lower quality, more expensive shirt
Sorry, your
just
eyebrow.
because it is a black owned business?
if I like it, yes. Me personally. Now, I'm not saying you should do it, but when I do have those stores, mine are better quality. So because I know the plugs, so it's me.
But
Talk about if it's worse
I think that's the fundamental issue with buying black is like, is it a good quality?
Yeah, because sometimes a lot of us like to cut corners. We like to cut corners. We like to do stuff cheap. Like,
but here's the thing: we'll go to Burlington and get the lower quality, but it's the same tag name though. It's like it's Calvin Klein, but technically it didn't really make the ranks, so they give it to Burlington, they give it to Walmart. So we'll still buy those, even though it's lower quality.
I don't think that's how it works.
It's not.
No, I think
so. Why
off-season and out-of-style stuff.
That too. Those also go to those stores, but it's also sometimes straight from the factory. There might be a slight manufacture issue, like maybe the button wasn't placed in the right place.
Yeah,
That's exactly how it fucking works.
Yeah, definitely.
That's exactly how it works.
Quality, so
yes.
I thought you just gave
yes. So, and niggas will buy that shit. Oh, because it's that brand name. So, why not do that for black? Why not do that for black?
Because it's not. You're talking about Burlington.
Yeah.
Think about it. Yeah. Is Burlington not cheap?
Burlington is cheap.
Okay, so like that's probably why they're going to Burlington to buy Calvin Klein, because it's cheaper than going to Calvin Klein.
Even though knowing that
Calvin
it's
Klein.
shittier quality.
It's not about that. Sometimes it's about the pocket. Sometimes you gotta buy.
Sometimes
the great value chicken nugget sauce.
Shitty quality.
Fuck that. You never get the great value chicken nugget sauce.
Yeah, fuck that shit.
Fuck that in the ass twice.
Because the chicken nuggets at Chick-fil-A are too expensive.
Nah.
That's never been an issue for me.
If you can't afford your chicken nuggets with your Chick-fil-A sauce, don't get it.
Maybe they're just on harder times. You inconsiderate asshole.
Nah, if you can't get it, don't go for no fucking great value chicken nugget sauce.
So
you're disrespect to the game.
And that's the problem.
Deliver on, I feel like across
is
the
a
board,
problem.
people need to deliver on quality if my money is coming out of my pocket.
But is it not important for us to consider our pockets first before we put the wealth into the black community? And again, support can go so many ways. But when you're talking financial support for businesses and black businesses, keeping that wealth in the community, is it wrong for us to check our pockets first? Is it wrong for us to look at our pockets?
I think there's
and say,
potential.
I think it starts with self.
I think it's potentially wrong
for us to say my pockets aren't there yet, so now I have to give the money to the white man?
Potentially.
Again, I think it starts with self. If you can manage your finances properly, then that's when you can go outside of your umbrella
but what
and
if
branch
me
out.
spending money at the white man's store is me managing my pockets?
Then yeah, I guess you gotta start. Every castle got to start in the basement. So yeah.
See, I feel like for me, I don't know.
That one went.
It seems like your goal is like make your way into investing in black businesses.
Yeah, why not?
Because then eventually you're like going against what you started. Like your foundation was based off of buying cheap. Why would you want to stop buying cheap?
Because I don't like cheap shit, nigga.
I can agree with that.
If the great value food puts food in your stomach every day, why do you eventually need to buy if the fucking Rainbow Rocks
I can't relate.
in the bag off-brand Fruity Pebbles is putting
I
cereal
can't
in
relate.
your
Straight
stomach
drugs.
every morning?
I can't relate.
Why do you eventually need to say, oh, well, Fruity Pebbles only $1 more and it tastes the same, but like it's Fruity Pebbles. It's got a name brand. Let me go with that. Like, why do you have to do that?
The same reason why Kanye West doesn't drive a Honda Civic.
I mean, I would think that
I don't understand that either.
I would think getting to that
Honda
point.
Civics.
I would think getting to that point where I do have the money to spend in black-owned businesses is keeping the wealth in the community.
In our community, yeah. If I know that I'm spending more, but I'm helping my people, I'm gonna do it.
And we're building each other up instead of tearing each other down.
It's about like being able to have one business also being able to help the other businesses.
Right.
Like that's really where that conversation.
Like, cause
I'm not saying
I love
go out of the way and harm yourself to help others.
But that would
do what you
require,
can.
That would
I love what
require you,
Tyler Perry's doing now. Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just saying that would require you to invest into every line of work across the black community. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, in order for like us to keep, because like there's certain like,
It's like turning the black community into a barter system.
basically.
That's exactly what it is.
'Cause, I mean,
now
there's-
you have to find the black electrician, the black plumber, the
Right.
black.
There's
Ain't
certain
that
things
what
we
the
need
Jews
to-
do?
But
That's what
Rob,
people do.
What is with you and Jews? We talked about this.
It's
Why do I
facts.
keep bringing them up?
But do they? Yes or no?
But I feel like
Yes or no? Yes or no?
I mean,
Our
no.
foundation
Spanish
Yes or
people.
no?
Spanish people go to
Spanish people do.
business.
Yep, they
Spanish
do.
people go to Spanish
Everyone
businesses.
fucking does it, but us.
But us.
We're the only ones who don't do it.
Have you walked into a Spanish store?
A Spanish store?
Like, yes.
Yes.
You're talking about how Spanish people keep money in the Spanish community. Have you walked to a Spanish store?
Yeah.
Do you see how cheap they are? Extremely cheap.
Also, Spanish people
You are
will
not
do
gonna
any
find
job. They
That
will
part
do
too.
any
That is
job.
Mexican
You
food
are
is cheap.
not gonna.
but-
Spanish shit is cheap, and then not to mention
Hispanic.
It's easily accessible. Hispanic.
Racist.
Not to mention it's easily
Fuck.
accessible. It's easily importable. That's why it's one of the reasons why it's so cheap.
So,
It all depends on where you're going.
Hold on.
It all depends on where you're
don't-
going.
And how you doing?
Yeah, I think the biggest issue is like you just said, and this was just on Facebook, whatever. You know, Latino people they will do any job.
Yeah.
But people struggling in the hood,
They think they too good for shit.
They ain't trying to wrangle together a whole bunch of dudes to go cut some people's grass.
Right.
why?
Shit, we did when we was kids.
But you get what I'm saying? Like,
I was going to say, I'm still waiting for some little kid to come by because I'm tired of cutting my grass.
Right.
but that's like I can't invest into a black community, like a black business, if the black people aren't looking to make that their business.
I mean,
Again, it starts with self. You got to branch out and do better.
But I can't make myself every line of work that a black person might need to invest
Right.
into. Like you've been
turning into a barter
specifically
system. I'm telling you, that's
saying clothing. What about like the other real life things that happen to you? Like you have to get your car fixed.
Right. So there's no such thing as a black mechanic?
Oh yeah, there are.
Okay.
100%. But
Are you
I
guaranteed
mean,
that they're
me
gonna be
personally,
cheaper
I
than
work
the
with
white
cars getting fixed all the time, and I can tell you, if I had to choose who I was going to get my car fixed from,
Probably a white man's business.
oh no, definitely not.
Oh, you get a Hispanic.
Because then it's going to be not even
Them motherfuckers
them. I would pick a Korean person.
Really?
Here's the reason why: they
was
take
about to say,
pride
yeah.
in their fucking work, and they will knock that shit out fast.
I think
Audience.
I
mean,
think we have.
J Pat
when
just
you
dropped
say
you
that-
a gem. Take that. Just know he just dropped you a gem. Take that.
But that's a cultural thing. Like everything they do, they take pride in. That's something I can say
That's
that like.
slacking
because of
shit.
nationalism, but we have to like really go back to like these roots of the, like. But that then you talked about in post-traumatic slave syndrome, like. We can't keep talking about slavery, but then you look at how communities are structured, and you're like,
And then you look at our current slavery.
and you look at how like you literally are told from the time we're little, grow up. We were fortunate. I was fortunate. I can only speak for myself. Growing up in the suburbs, like go to high school, go to college, get a job, start a family, blah 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 blah. But that's a message that is proliferated to a lot of different communities on a very mass scale for young people in general. But people aren't thinking that, maybe
Yo,
that's
who's
not the
mouth
path.
breathing in their mic? Am I the only person that hears that?
No,
I think that's just the feedback.
No, that's breath.
Like that?
Y'all don't hear that?
No.
Yo, it's like just a rhino coming up in the back corner. I can feel it. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
But now, like I think trying to get more people to not think of that as the only route in the black community. Like, you know what? Maybe after high school, I need to go to a trade school and start building a business in my
That's how it
community.
used to be.
Right. And in
We're
my
not
mother's
touching that.
culture, for example, like
They
in
took those
Ghanaian
programs
culture,
out.
we have like we call it a susu. So a susu pot is like you put money in.
A susu pot.
Yeah, it's like
That's your
just
Chinese background.
It's a good.
No,
it's
it's
a good
African.
concept. It's a good concept.
It's a good concept. Like, okay, Jeremy needs $300 to get his business started. Okay,
You can fight gentrification
so
that way.
each of us can put in money for Jeremy's
Right.
$300 investment,
community.
and then when it's so Lewis's turn, Lewis will be like, "Yo, I need to start a business next door to Jeremy.
Boom.
I need like $500.
Shit.
Now Jeremy's gonna take whatever money
We
he
do it in the
took,
churches.
and
Why
then
can't we do it for black-owned
cycle it
businesses?
back. So it's like if
Question.
we had that mentality plus trade schools,
Question.
we could save it. We
Now,
could save community.
Jeremy needs $300. There's 6 of us here. We've all given him $50. His business fails.
Quick maths.
Now Lewis needs $300.
Hey.
I gave him $50.
My
You
business
gave him
fails not
$50.
because you guys didn't give me
That's
the money,
not-
just because I didn't manage it properly.
Right.
So you'll
Exactly.
take it
That's
there.
not
Just
Jeremy.
because of the
Help.
way the
That's
system
not Jeremy.
works.
For example-
What's that got to do with anything? That's not Jeremy.
Right. That's just not gonna stop me
But
from
now
helping him
I
out.
spent money on his business, making an investment, and
No
it
return.
went nowhere.
Okay.
that's
but I mean,
not
And
that's
now
not him.
Okay, you're
That's
right.
what
You're right.
investing is about.
You're right.
Trial and error.
You're right. You're right. You're right. And now I spend. Lewis needs $300. So you get 50, you get 50, I get 50, 50, 50, 50. Now we've invested in Lewis's business, and Lewis's business fails. Oh wait, hold on, it gets better. Now Julian needs $300 to start his business.
And that shit finna succeed.
But I mean, I feel like the goal of the whole thing is
that's
the
what
fact,
investing is.
I think the whole goal of the whole thing is the fact
why am I
that
investing my money into you? I'm coming back to you, Lewis. Why am I investing my money into you if it's not like a guaranteed return? Now I've spent $100.
You don't invest in anything with a guaranteed return.
Nothing has a guaranteed return.
My thing is it's not about the money that you give me. It's the fact that we're all putting in a pot, and when you need money, that money is also there for you.
Exactly.
It'll be there for you.
It's a community.
Okay, all right.
It's not me. It's
Group
us.
economics.
Okay, so the $300 that I gave is still like guaranteed. That $50 that I gave to him is still. I'm still guaranteed to get $100 back from him.
Yeah, that's how.
That's how. Yeah, it's like, and I would think that's how we help each other. Because
That's how we should buy the blocks back. When these buildings go close down, everybody in their community should, we should buy that building so it's black
will
owned.
go broke faster than you believe. I promise you all that.
No, because you can't be selfish. You can't be selfish, and you can't be worried about what's going on over there. And like,
If you got like-minded individuals with like-minded goals, then you can do it.
That's the problem. The black people always think about me.
I'm
They don't think
checking
about
the
us.
year. 2019. Okay, all right. Just making sure.
But my thing is, okay, like I said, you have to care about us. And once you start putting me in it, that's when shit goes down or shit don't work.
There's no I in team except for the ass.
Because it's not his failure. It's our failure.
But there is me in team.
But it's not.
No,
it's not his failure. Like that business. That business going down is not his failure.
They know.
Got him.
Right. Yeah.
Yikes.
I feel like.
There's definitely a me in team.
No, there's not. Read the team. It
If you
ends
jumble
with
the
an N.
words, if you jumble the words,
But that's not our
Well,
word.
if you
That
jumble
is
this
no
conversation.
longer the word team.
Facts.
you know what's definitely in team? Me. Hold it, nigga. All right. Now, with that being said, let's talk blacks in the workforce
Gang.
and how we struggle. Actually, let's address this off break. Race on the application.
I'll put it.
I'm putting it.
I don't put it.
100%.
I like
putting
them to
it.
be confused.
I put it.
When they
No.
say my name.
Yep.
Well,
They see
I
Quinn out of
put
Roselle,
multiple.
Holly the Fourth, Black. What the fuck?
That's a double-edged sword because it could actually get you a job too.
Sometimes
Just throwing that out there.
My name's
Yep.
Afia
And plus,
Chin. I feel
if
like
you're
I'm
not black.
neutral everywhere.
Or if you're black, affirmative action is a very important thing in today's society.
Now, if
Very
my name is
important.
Leroy Jenkins, I mean, they're going to know you black anyway.
Still,
Might as well.
still
No,
might
because
get
that's
you
the
a
thing.
job.
My full name is Louis Franklin Moses Scott II.
Right.
That
You
sounds
are
like
a white man and you are getting that job.
And
Shout out to all my Nelsons.
I don't know.
But I don't feel bad about it.
I don't hear white.
Unless,
I hear black man in power, to be honest.
LEWIS.
He said a black king of Europe.
Hashtag Morse.
Yikes.
I don't know. I mean, I know this is probably not like the most popular opinion or whatever, but I noticed like a lot of times I do get more interviews just because when you look at me on paper, like you don't know what I am.
Right.
And I feel like it kind of hurts the community sometimes when like you give this name, a crazy ass name, and it's like, okay, well, I can't even pronounce that. I mean, her name's
What?
not
It
crazy.
don't work for nobody else. So.
This topic
First
kind of
of
stems
all-
from the stereotype that
They don't know
affirmative
what it's
action applies only to black people.
That's
But
absolutely false.
it's white women who actually have the most success with affirmative action.
What is your bone to pick with white women?
It's not.
You
There's no
claiming
bone.
a
There's no
lot
bone.
of shit
I'm just
on,
saying
like,
facts.
you
Did I lie?
really
I'll wait
I
for the
don't have
lie.
a problem.
I don't have a problem with anybody. I love everybody.
When I go,
We're talking about affirmative action. That's all.
And like when I was in the workforce, I mean, I never put race on the application. I thought I want to see the look of shock when you realize I'm not a short little stereotypical Chinese woman.
Are you allowed to lie on those things?
No, I mean, well,
I mean, at the end of it, you sign it saying that you didn't lie.
If I put
yeah,
that
so
I'm
no, you
if I
can't.
if I put that I'm a white woman or a white dude
You're
or
not gonna
something,
get the job because you already showed the company that you're willing to lie.
I put Asian
For a
on.
one-up,
I put
which
Asian
is
on
the
there and
job.
I've been told that I lied.
What
And
if
I'm
you
like, my
wanna be
last
a
name's
lawyer?
Chin, so.
Here's my issue with applications. I think race should not be on your application,
Facts.
but I think it should be in your profile. Once you get the job, I think they should document your race within the job because these companies still have to prove.
as far as
that they're-
statistics, yeah,
Oh, for
yeah, I agree.
They should still have to prove that they are hiring other races
Yeah.
other than white.
Diversity.
That's
I
why it
agree.
should- yes, they have diversity within the company.
100%.
They should 100% show in your profile that you are of what race you are.
shout out
But-
to San Francisco.
But I mean, I don't know about that because I mean, like for me, if I say I own like a computer business, right, and I want the best people possible. I don't think race should be included at all because honestly, if that over white, I got the best people in there.
That's not what we are. Over 100 and something people,
that's not
and
what we
only
are,
one black person in your entire office.
But I wanted the best.
Problem. Like,
but I wanted the best. I wanted the best, and I got the best. And I don't think the color should matter. You should your work history, your experience, and everything.
But when the stereotypes do apply in the situation, and all the best just happens to lean one way, then your company looks like you're not diverse enough.
Yeah. But I don't know. I just feel like I would have to prove. I would have some way that I proved that I got the smartest person I could get at that time because I want to make my business.
If everybody in the company is good, then of course you're gonna get good results. But that doesn't mean everybody in the company is the best of which applied for that company.
But then you also have to think about what jobs are people going out for? Like these diversity inclusion jobs, like that are having issues. Like, why are they having issues? Is it a science field issue?
I don't think there's enough diversity and security.
I just think that.
No, because I mean the labor force is the labor force itself, what is it, blue collar? Is that what that when you actually work with your hands and stuff like that? Those jobs, people aren't filling them anymore.
No.
They're not filling them anymore, and it's just like, what do we do?
It's just not Americans that are filling them.
And then what happens when we start adding in?
Shout out to my airport workers.
What happens like
American?
I just saw.
Define American.
I just saw the garbage truck that comes by to pick up your stuff in your house. It used to be 2 people. Now that thing has a claw, and you get getting rid of the job. That's what. Now it's only 1 driver.
Yeah, we have automation taking over jobs, and
that's because people keep demanding higher pay, and they're like, okay, so you want to spend some money, so we'll spend that money on a machine.
Have a living wage.
McDonald's said, oh, we want $15. Oh, word? Well, I got a machine that can do your shit for you.
So I mean, like, what do you think about the Andrew Yang? Like, every American should get $1,000 dividend then, since that's happening.
I ain't been watching politics. Them shits is crazy right now.
So basically, his idea is that Amazon, your Facebooks, all those places, they're basically getting all of this money that's not getting taxed. That's not getting taxed. Like, they're just making billions and billions of dollars, eating up everything. So Andrew Yang's stance is that he wants to tax these businesses, these internet businesses and everything like that, and give every American $1,000. Just
because they're using us for their algorithms and our buying patterns.
That makes sense for social media. I don't agree with that for Amazon.
I think Amazon should be taxed. I think these
Amazon,
they have targeted ads. You don't think? I mean, what's your name? Alexa's listening to your shit.
Facebook for Amazon, like we are paying them.
Yeah,
I don't know.
All right, I'll give you that.
I am paying.
I'll give you that.
Like,
but I'm saying,
okay, no.
But like with Amazon. But like with
Amazon Music too, so yeah, they were taking money from me.
No, but like with Amazon, like
shout out to my Alexis. I just pissed. Alexa, turn off the lights.
Doo doo.
Boy, but the problem is where we were getting tax money because America needs money. America needs money, period. Like where were we getting tax money from? Like your mall jobs, your grocery stores, different things. All those businesses are shutting down because of Amazon. So all that money that we were getting taxed before is going somewhere else. But it's not going to the country. We got to get it back from Amazon. We got to get it back from Facebook, Instagram, all these places that are making all that money.
That's a government level thing.
But I mean,
setting taxes on these corporate businesses.
That
has nothing to do with.
But I'm saying, if they do that, and then if you follow the idea that he has,
on our government. That has nothing to do with us.
Let me finish. If we do this idea that Andrew Yang's talking about, where you give them $1,000 to every American, that helps out like homeless people. That helps out so many people. Like,
but that money still doesn't go back into taxing these companies.
No, it goes back into the country.
No, the tax.
You're talking about
because people gonna spend that money back to the country.
But it's going into the country.
It's gonna recirculate. Yeah, I got you. I got what you're saying. Like if I have $1,000 extra to spend, it's gonna go. It's gonna separate unless I directly give it to
they're
that
taxing
company.
the companies and then they use that tax money to give everybody in America $1,000.
Right.
Now that everybody in America has $1,000.
I still.
What are you doing with that money?
Just spending it back into the infrastructure.
Put them into your black-owned business.
Now the money that was taken out of these companies, because we're not talking about a one-time tax, right? Right. We're talking about a continue
like this
tax.
Is a tax
every year or every 2 years.
Every year, get $1,000 bet.
So now, what happens to that money after everybody in America gets $1,000?
You invested in black business.
You invested in yourself.
After everybody in America gets $1,000, what happens to the money that the government continues to take out from Amazon, Facebook, Instagram, whatever have you be it? They're
thing
still
that
taking
happens to
money.
our
We've already
paychecks?
received that $1,000.
No,
and now everybody
that's
is still
$1,000 a month, and I mean we would continue to
What?
get that money.
Bet.
I need that.
Money. Shit.
to every American $1,000 a month from
Sign
Facebook,
me the fuck up.
Instagram, and Amazon.
Sign me up.
America has enough money
I'm
for
telling
it.
you, I'm telling you, read into. Maybe I'm not explaining it right, or
No,
maybe
no,
I'm
no,
not.
no, no,
like read into what he's
What's that
saying. It makes perfect sense.
Already,
It does, the math
everything
does.
about that is
It makes perfect sense.
everything about that sounds flawed. There's no way that's gonna happen. That makes absolutely no sense.
Why not?
From a corporate and a government level to tax these companies and then give that $1,000 back.
They're not gonna give
The
it back.
government, absolutely
They're not
not.
gonna give
We're
it
in
back.
debt.
They might tax them. They might tax them, but they're not gonna give it to
We're in debt
us.
as a country as a whole.
But,
We're
I mean,
talking about giving
they're gonna
$1,000
put it to our
every
roads.
month
But
to everybody
but I mean,
else.
when you start taxing these
They're gonna
people,
give it to our
That's how you
schools.
get
you
out
start
of
taxing
that
these
debt.
people. That's the.
Problem
I
why
mean,
we're in
I would
debt
hope. I mean,
is
I know the
because
government's
we're paying
corrupt and
these
shit.
companies. That's why we're in debt. It's because we're paying these companies and they're not putting that money back into America.
Yes.
Right.
So
But
if you're taxing them and then
putting
giving that to
money-
the people, then we can put it back into America. That's how we're gonna
And
get
that's
out
how
of
you
that
get
debt.
That's not how that's gonna work because
Which is
if
some
you give me,
bullshit.
if
We need
Amazon
to
gives me
sign
$1,000 a month, you know what $1,000 a month's going back into? Amazon.
Right.
I gotta keep my prime.
That's
right.
your problem.
Hold on.
like-
Hold on. But that's money now that we're taking from
I'm
Amazon.
putting in
Give to
the
you. to
black
give
owned
them.
bank
You're just
account.
giving
Give
Amazon
back to the country.
you're
It's in a circle.
No, but you're giving Amazon back their money instead of
So-
taking the money you made in America and spending it on Amazon.
And them getting richer.
I'm understanding. Like, I'm
You get what I'm
giving
saying?
$1,000
Amazon's
Amazon
money
gave me,
with
and then
Amazon.
Yes,
Yeah,
you're
it's
paying
because
Amazon
it's
with their
my
money. You're not paying them with your money.
Yeah,
now
okay.
you can
All
spend
right,
your
okay.
money on
Okay, we
other
got there.
stuff.
We got there. Okay,
African
cool.
weave.
I get it.
All right.
But I think it's a great idea. I mean, I'm really interested in what he has to say, and I mean, that's one of the candidates I'm looking for. And I mean, I feel like we
They
just
probably
gotta
talking
put.
about giving me
And he's
$1,000.
We just do a political shout out.
You got me.
I think we did.
Wow.
Oh,
Weird.
I'm sorry. Am I not supposed to do that?
Wow.
Did what?
Anyways,
My bad.
It's been a long episode, guys.
And that's crazy.
This
And
episode is brought to you by niggas.
This episode is brought to you by niggas. But
6 of them.
wait. Big facts. But anybody got any final notes? We run around the table. Lewis, you got any final things before we get out of here?
No. I mean, hey, this was a great conversation. Yeah, it was really cool. And I mean, I just feel like that the community, all of us ourselves, just need to help each other when it comes to mental health, post-traumatic slave syndrome, or anything like that. We need to be open to talk to each other and really help each other. And my thing is, the way I always think of it is starting with myself. I want to help everybody in this room. I want every one of y'all to thrive and do what you're supposed to do so we can all be better.
I'm with it.
Xavier?
Love yourself. Love others. You dig. Straight like that.
No. J-Pat?
I walked away with some major takeaways. Self-hate doesn't exist. There's no such thing as police brutality. There's no good reason to keep the wealth inside of the community.
According to Nelson, I got it. I got what you're going with this. I got it.
What else did I learn today? Nah, man, I think it was a good episode. It was nice talking with everybody. Definitely walked away learning. And I think that's kind of one of the things you wanted in the first place, keeping the wealth in the community, especially that knowledge wealth, you know? So I appreciate everybody.
Go ahead. Just go ahead.
Self-love is the best love.
Hey,
And your love is the worst drug.
hey.
He's not talking about masturbating, by the way.
Yikes. That's why I took that.
Floor is yours.
I think that it's important to continue to carry the message through the community and keep it here. But I think it's even more so important to keep the message within ourselves. Like, I can't say it seriously. Like, why are we so fucking self-hating? What is going on? And it's not
I love
slavery
myself.
anymore. It has nothing to do with slavery anymore, and we need to move on from grow from that. So.
I think it's the same people that, brought us this episode today. I think it's because niggas.
Niggas.
That's why we're
Doing
just
nigga
self-hating.
shit. That's all I
You
gotta
hate to
say
see
about that. I hate to say it, but stop. Stop it.
Niggas stop niggering around.
Noun, verb, adverb, adjective.
Pronouns.
Like I said in episode 2, nigga, my favorite word.
Will y'all stop so I can close out this
Nigger,
goddamn
nigger,
episode,
nigger,
please?
nigger, nigger.
Holy shit. Turn off your mics. We need to close this episode
Really
out.
good episode.
Please turn off your mics. Everybody, I hope that with the first 10 episodes of this podcast coming out, I hope that you've taken just the slightest bit of motivation. We did start this on a whim, and it's something I've been talking about for years, just lollygagging with my friends and shit like that. And here we are. We're episode 10 in, and first reoccurring guest from the first 9 episodes, and we're out here having good conversation. We still get a laugh out, and we're out here pushing messages to everybody else. So if anything you take from this podcast, just push your own agenda. Get your own message out there. And just start with something so simple as a goddamn cover art for your podcast or an intro. Something so simple could take you so far. So to all my millennials, everything you say is a sin, and no one wants to hear your woes. And to everybody else, it's been another episode of the Absence of Woes podcast. Peace!